T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast in the world. Welcome to the Trap Talk Reptile Podcast. Monday nights, new breed on the block series, and it's all about the chondros tonight. That's right, ball pythons. Put you on the shelf for a bit because I'm all about, come on. You guys already know what I'm all about. The damn chondros. Chondros are life. I hope you guys are ready out there. But what is good, everybody? If this is your first time tapping in, I'm your boy MJ. Do your boy a favor. Hit that like button. Smash that subscribe button, okay? If you enjoy with what you're hearing, what you've been hearing, what you've been witnessing, then hit that subscribe button because it helps this channel out a lot more than you think. And then, hit that notification bell. That way you're on top of every single podcast I drop here on this channel, highlight videos I drop, and a bunch of cool reels I drop on my own animals. A lot of awesome stuff coming from this channel. So if you're into reptiles, keeping, breeding, or just admiring, simply all that, just hit that subscribe button and you'd be so happy that you did. Shouts to all my viewers out there, all my subscribers. Shouts to all the early birds. See you guys there. I got to say, before we get cracking and before we get started with tonight's guest, tonight's episode is brought to you by Focus Cube Habitats. The future of enclosures are here. What you see behind me displayed, all designed and made by Stephen and Ashley, Flex in Texas, all day, every day. Focus Cube Habitats. Head over to Focus Cube Instagram. Go follow them. Go see what they're all about. I have something I'm going to be coming out soon that is just the blueprint proof behind why you should go Focus Cube over anything else, okay? It just doesn't matter. Focus Cube is the best. And I'm going to put out a vlog here within the next month or so to prove all that. But thank you, Stephen and Ashley, for your ongoing love and support. They've been sponsors of mine for over 2 years now. I love you guys. Thank you for always believing in me. I also want to say this episode is brought to you by someone I look up to highly in the arboreal game or just overall in the reptile industry. It's my man Gary Shavino from GS Reptiles, my favorite YouTuber, big time. Please, he's so funny, genuine, and full of knowledge. Head over to YouTube right now. We're already here, obviously, but type in GS Reptiles. Subscribe to Gary Shavino's YouTube channel. Go over to his Instagram page. If you're into just overall reptiles and snakes, this is your guy. I'm telling you right now, his knowledge, second to none. He's been in this shit for a long, long time, longer than more than any of you been alive, and that's a fact. And not to kind of say that he's old. I'm just saying. Facts. My boy, Gary Shavino, thank you so much for your support, buddy. I appreciate it. It means a lot. Literally, support like this is what makes me feel like I'm never leaving this game. I love it. Love what I do. And thank you out there for just watching what it is that I'm putting out and what my guest is talking about. Because, listen, you're spending your life with me. And I got to say, this is a fun time doing this podcast and learning about stuff that I'm obsessed about. What gets me out of bed every day is what you see behind me, what's in front of me, inside of me, all reptiles in general, man. Reptiles are better than humans. And that's a fact. So, thank you to the two sponsors. If you're looking for exclusive content, if you want to meet more, if you want to get connected, like when I say connected, if you want to talk to people who are really about the keeping side of things and breeding and just want to take things to the next level longevity wise, basically, if you want to be kicking it with people where reptiles are their lives, then go down to the very first link and join the Trap Talk Patreon family. As soon as you join the Patreon family, you get a link to the Discord, which will tap you in with over 160 trappers in the building. I got to say thank you to my Patreon members. I love you guys so much. You guys are my hot, sickest, coolest Patreon family in the reptile industry. Hella. And I love you guys, man. Let's go. We're growing by the day. Trap Fest 2023 is going to be a hit. Just so you know, I got shit. It's going to be sick. Oh, my God. And then, I'm ready for tonight. It's Chondro talk. What's good? Who's in the early birds? Who's ready to rock? My boy, Mike, 1776 Exotics, heavily respected, up-and-coming ball python breeder and an inspired Chondro breeder. He's keeping chondros made by some of the best doing it. That's my dog, Mike, 1776 Exotics. Trap Talk Patreon member, OG Patreon member in the building. Go give him a follow. The homie Levi, FTL Reptiles. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. 217 Pythons, the homie Will in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Cohan's Constrictors in the building. What is good? Thanks for tapping in. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. The homie Jordan in the building. Heartland Reptiles. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. I love it. Heath and Hatchery, my dog. OG right here. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Thanks for tapping in, player. Team management right there all the way. Deviant Glass in the building. Good catching up with you on last night's Zoom call for the Trap Talk Patreon after party. What a time. That's my dog right there. Go give him a follow. Blows the sickest glass in the game. The homie West, Sunshine State Sulfurs in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Bruce Carpenter. What is good, Bruce? Thanks for tapping in. Gotta like the homie Bruce. Bosa Balls, the homie Aaron in the building. What's good? Thanks for tapping in. Chantel, my homegirl, Pacific Rim Serpents. Team Zoo Dreams all day, every day. It's my girl right here. Go give her a follow. Hit her in the building. I'm telling you right now. You can't sleep on Chantel. The homie JKJ Reptiles. What is good, player? I hope that trap package is doing you well, buddy. I really hope so. And you guys should go follow my boy, JKJ Reptiles, on Instagram, and he will eventually expose all the heat that he got from me. He ain't playing. Don't sleep on my guy. I'm telling you right now. The homie Scale Fins and Feathers, my boy Josh, who I believe just went ahead and hatched out some beaded lizards. Or is that right, Josh? Either way, go confirm that yourself. Head over to Instagram. Go give my boy Josh a follow. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Canada's finest. Jaffe Exotics. Jaffe, you ready for this Thursday night? The homie Corey Woods. It's one of my heaviest hitters out of Canada. I'm telling you right now, Corey Woods is not to sleep on. But, listen, Jaffe's not to sleep on either. Go give my boy Jaffe a follow, because I'm telling you right now, this is going to be someone who's already getting some clout under his ball python game, but eventually this guy will be keeping some sick chondros and some of the sicker shit that is out there. Best believe it. Hey, thanks for being here, Jaffe. It means a lot. The homie Adam, Family Serpents in the building. Thanks for tapping in. The homie Zach, NW, Herpetological in the building. One of the newest Trap Talk Patreon members. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. Constrictor Connection in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. The homie Eclipse in the building. Sweden, Trap Talk Patreon member. Yeah, that's right. The Patreon family be global. We got Aussies. We got fucking Swedens. We got Norway. How am I say that? Wait. Norway? No, I can't butcher that. Hold on. Norwegians. Did I say that right? My wife's dad's Norwegian. I don't know why I couldn't just say that. Either way, been smoking all day. Shit. Hey, thanks for your support. It's my dog right here. Trap Talk Patreon member. Chip Indo, what a guy. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Lucky Leviathans. What's going on, Lucky Leviathans? I know these two. I like these two. Thanks for being here, you two. I appreciate it. Julio Fulio in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Trademans Exotics. Rocking that amazing Condro heat. This fool's raising up some amazing Condro heat. Go give him a follow on Instagram. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Got Chicago in the building. Windy City Chondros. I've been fucking with this dude for a while. He's been fucking with me for a while. I think it's time I get this fool on the show as well, man. Go give this guy a follow right now. Windy City Chondros on IG. Don't fuck with don't sleep on my guy. I'm telling you right now. He's definitely one of the Condro game not to sleep on. Jason Earl Exotics, thanks for being here. Let's see who else is here. Bill Hoffman in the building. What's up, Bill Hoffman? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Bill, are you Country Boy? Is that you on I heard that's you on Instagram. Anyways, keep up the good stuff, Bill. Yeah. Keys Constrictors in the building. Is my dog right here. Thanks for tapping in. Keys, big Keys all day, every day. The homie Brandon Hernandez in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Father Blue in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member, and also a new Trap Talk Patreon member. Hey, dog, if you just upgrade to that next tier, you get that link to the Discord, and I would love for you to meet everyone in the Discord. I'm telling you right now, you don't want to sleep on that Discord because that's where it pops off. But listen, thanks for being a part of it. Hey, you can't sleep on my man Father Blue either. He has some sick ass do-it-yourself type shit that he's putting out. Really going to change the game as far as monitor nesting and even for snakes. I don't know. Go check it out. Go see what he's all about. And I can't wait to work with this guy in the near future. It's going to be awesome. And we're going to end this with style with Father Blue because it's time, bro. It's going to be on and cracking. It's Monday. Okay. Buckle up because shit's going to get fucking hot and heavy. You feel me? Because when it comes down to chondros, I get passionate. I get very excited because I fell a lot at chondros. Don't we all, if you know what you're talking about, right? If and I feel like Travis has success under his belt. But but I know damn well this motherfucker went through some loss. We all do. I'm telling you right now, that's the beauty about working with chondros. If you actually talk to somebody who's able to break through some molds, man, they've been through some shit. So it's about to go down. I want to get the likes up, please. If you have a question, if you want to go ahead and shoot a super chat in the live chats, don't be shy with the super chats. Let's get the super chats on and cracking. But guys, chondro lovers, want to be chondro lovers or want to just know what it's like to be in this chondro game, be ready because it's episode 307 coming at you right now with Big Travis of Mongrel Reptiles. Let's go. Jay. You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes,
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it.
Big Trav, aka Mongrel Reptiles, in the building. I hope you're wearing boots, bruh. You wearing your boots?
I ain't got on boots today. I came in a ball. I got on Concords. I came in a ball.
Bro, let's go. We're gonna get this. We're getting this on the courts right now. Hey, thanks for tapping in, bro. Thanks for being here, Travis. Mongrel Reptiles in the building. How you living, man?
Hey man, I'm living good. I appreciate you having me. Here come one of my other creations come up to give me this.
Man, we were just talking about what I have cooking in my wife's incubator. And you're the first one to tell me that the boys are a lot, from your experience, boys are a lot more harder than girls. This is the first time me hearing this.
Oh man, so you kind of want your boys to be like that. Like
right.
they supposed to be rowdy. Like I remember when it was right around the time I was about to graduate for high school, and I got in trouble for some shit. And I remember my dad came up to me. He was just like, listen, I'm not that mad at you. And if you didn't do this type of stuff, I think there was something wrong with you. So my son's rowdy, man.
Yeah, man. Listen, first and foremost, I got to say, I love it when I can get to talk to somebody who is, well, correct me if I'm wrong. Have you been working and breeding chondros within the last 5 years or less, or how long have you been dabbling within the chondros? I'm curious.
So I had got my first chondro back in 2015.
Okay.
And then I killed it like most people in the Exoterra.
Right. Okay.
So I didn't come back into chondros till 2018. So I've been building since 2018, and I got my first clutch in 2022, and then my second one in 2022. So for just a few years, I just been, just getting the snakes that I wanted, and it took a while, but it worked out. When I first started, it was hard to get snakes. The snakes that everybody was just like, oh, you got to get this stuff.
Right.
So I went a different route, and I owe a lot to my boy Keno from Windy City. He held me down the whole time. So, I had a lot of help, but so basically, I tried in 2021 and nothing happened. In 2022, I got lucky twice.
So I don't know if I've actually breaking down details on how I killed my first Neo. I mean, but I will say first and foremost, I was keeping in a tub way too wet and just there was water dripping. So there could have been many different things to go wrong. Why don't we kind of break down what you felt went wrong for your Neo in that Exoterra? Because there are people out there who could pull it off, and there are people. Oh, look who it is, the star of the show. Look, that's who that is. Look who that is. Look who that is. That's her. Look, that's you. That's you.
That's you, Pigeon.
Oh my god, look how cute this girl is, bro. I can't get over it. But what I was saying is, wait, what were we talking about? Oh my god, she's so
About
cute.
how we killed him.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. So basically, there are people who've gone the Exoterra route and have had no issues whatsoever. But I want to know what it is. What was your first setup? What was it that you felt that just kind of went the wrong way with that? If we could help people out there.
Oh, so that's easy. The first part was the inconsistent humidity. So in order to keep the humidity up in the Exoterra, even if you block it off, like I tried to block the top off with plexiglass,
Right.
that didn't work well. I was using Reptile, and it held humidity, but it started molding, and I think the killer was this plant that had came from Petco. That was in the tub, and it sat on the plant, and I couldn't figure out why. And then it had a fungal infection, and then it wouldn't eat, and then it was gasping, and then it died. So I was kind of heartbroken for a while. My daughter thinks she's a ghost back there. Just ignore her.
Yeah, she's. I don't even see her.
But for a few years, because I was still in the army at the time, so I couldn't really just have a bunch of snakes.
Right.
So, I spent a year of my first year out of the army. I was just trying to figure out what life was going to be like outside of the army. So I went and got a snake after that first year, and it worked out well. And then, I told my wife the lie that everybody tells they wives, I just want one. And then it just grew.
Yeah.
So,
What's crazy is I don't even think our significant other or wives or whatever it is that you have out there knows that we're lying to ourselves too. Like we're trying to say this is the last one, but I don't know if it's the snake gods or whatever, but every time I try to commit to that, something happens to a situation where either it just lands in my lap or I'm able to make the move happen. And I'm like, damn, here we are again. So I just shut my mouth now. I can't even sit and I stopped telling my wife it's the last one. I just now I just get to a point where I have to, if I really bring something in, something needs to go, you know what I mean? Or something, but I it's fine because I have so much that I work with. So either way, I mean, that's why I tell people out there, like, no matter where you're at right now, if you're in a position a year from now where you can get whatever you want, things could change very quickly. You know what I mean? But I got to tell you right now, if it's one thing people could really enjoy, because here's the thing, I've gone on a tangent about, like, and this is no disrespect to my own ball python homies, but I got ball python homies, and they breed some like crazy next level shit. But in my eyes, other than making sick ass like morphs, I don't think it's much of a flex that you keep ball pythons. Like the challenge isn't really there as far as from what I can see. But when it comes to getting shit, even once this gets easy to get dialed in, there's still a lot of learning curves you go through. You know what I mean? And there are things that just make you respect what you keep, like what's behind me, what you keep, more than something that just chills in the rack. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I would chunk up the one more. It's the Tom Brady syndrome. Is you can't stop. Every time you get a win, you want another one. But I feel you. I definitely I appreciate my wife for being patient with me.
The wives.
Yeah, but I got snakes that I was fortunate enough to get rid of some, which there's all types of different learning curves in chondro keeping, which I think it is in reptiles in general. But the first time and the second time are going to be completely different. You might have two separate issues with how you get your eggs. The first time I didn't have a prelay shed. And then the second time I had a prelay shed, and I had a conversation with Mike Majoros, and he said, "How do you count?" And I said, "Oh, I'm not counting anymore." It just seems like when I feel like they're getting close to the day, I'm just gonna put them in the box. And then you have two different, incubations, where the first one, it was too wet, and then the second one, it was
Right.
too dry, and then it was too wet. So I lost some eggs on the second clutch. But even once you get babies and you start establishing them, it's two different forms of establishing babies, because the
Yeah.
clutches are different. They have a different, way to get established. With the first clutch, you got 5 coming online at a time. The second clutch, is real sporadic. I got like 3 that seem like they want to eat. So you just learn so much. You learn it over and over again. You have to relearn and reteach yourself constantly with chondros. Even as far as cleaning tubs, it's just going to be different.
Yeah, and people just need to take any wins they can get throughout this process that they go through with chondros. And what I say is, like, a lot of people just get their hands wet with ball pythons and they can immediately turn into breeders, because it's, like I said, it's that easy. Like, if you do everything what you need to do, you'll get a ball python clutch, no problem. And more than likely, those snakes will eat for you. It's a good experience. I love it, right? But you just are flipping a coin with the chondros for the most part. And this is just wide range of proof of different breeders out there who've had either good luck on their first clutch and everything went right, or they've had the worst luck ever. You know what I mean? I know that I've only had 3 clutches, right? Throughout the 4 years I've been working with chondros, I've had 3 clutches, and each clutch I did something better. But there was also something that happened to where I fucking lost it too. You know what I mean? But I learned something different in each clutch. And like, for instance, I got a girl ovulating right here below me. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm okay. Like, it sucks. Like, when, my last clutch, my Neo went 7 months and then it died. Like, it prolapsed after 7 months of eating and doing well. Like, that sucked, but that's like, you can't just really think you're in the clear with these fucking chondros, bro. Like, it's just like, it's very humbling. And me, with my life experience, I appreciate being humbled. Like, I like stuff like this that makes me just like chill out. Like, cause at the end of the day, like, I don't know, you're gonna get humbled in the chondro game regardless, even if you just keep them, if you're not even just breeding them,
Yeah, one thing about chondros that you got to realize is, just because you're new doesn't mean that there is a unlimited like height that you can reach, because
Right.
just as far as I've seen with the older guys, like, either things happen, like I've seen Nido wipe out clutches, I've seen guys have animals that just don't breed like they think they were going to breed.
Yeah.
Or it's so hard to constantly breed these snakes and get eggs, hatch babies, establish babies, that they don't want to do it as much. So there never is going to be a point with chondros where it's ever going to be on easy mode.
Yeah.
Despite what I've heard a lot of people say, I just don't think it happens that way. And also with the chondros, there's a lot of things that people don't tell you and they don't show you. A lot of things that get whispered about. So we show people the highlights, but it's difficult. It's really difficult. So when you have people that are trying to give you some valuable information and sometimes humble you, you got to take that. They've been in the position you've been in before, so they've seen it.
Right.
So just be respectful of the older guys that came before you.
Yeah, I mean, understand that it's a little different for them, because the sacrifices and losses throughout their journey makes them like at the end of the day, they have enough good to show off versus bad, because they've already went through so much bad. But that doesn't mean that they don't continue to go through bad. It's just either more of good and bad, or some of them, like, there's motherfucker OGs out there who are they just got it down, and they got it down to the point where either it's going to be a good clutch or a healthy clutch, or excuse me, it's either going to be a bad clutch or a healthy clutch. Like, it's either going to go the distance or it's not. And if it doesn't, they don't give a fuck, because they have like 4 other clutches. You know what I mean? It's when you have that one and only clutch, like when you're just when your year only relies on one clutch that you've had, that means I don't know. I mean, it's really hard to say. Like, it's just you got to take it for what it is. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, when you have more numbers, when you have more clutches under your belt, you will eventually get better odds. It's just, you know what I mean? It's I don't know. Like, but like I said, I love that I'm in no rush to even get, like, I want to be successful, right? But when does success come to the point of it just happening without you even realizing it is the thing. And that just comes with time. I mean, like I said, there's so many breeders out there who, I mean, they have enough good shit popping to where they don't need to show a fucking deformed or a neo that died in the egg, because why? They have, like, it's kind of like we all know there was at least 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 that probably died, but this is what made it, and nobody gives a fuck with what died. They just care what made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which I think that can be like, there's 2 different versions of that. You know, I've talked to guys who are older and more seasoned, and they'll tell you straight up, like, this was a bad clutch.
Right.
From
From the get-go too, huh? Like they'll tell you, like, straight from lane, they're like, this is not going to be a good clutch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, freeze them. And then there's some other clutches that I've seen where you'll see like 1 spectacular animal or 3 spectacular animals, and then, you know, you got a bunch of deformities with the rest of the animals, and you don't necessarily know what caused it. You know, some people have their speculations. Were the genes too tightly bred, or maybe it was the heat? Nobody exactly knows.
Or was the female kept too hot? I gotta tell you right now, the last 3 clutches I had, I kind of did the OG ball python thing where I'm like, okay, there's an ovulation, let me give it that hot spot. And the thing was, last year was when my boy, shout out to my boy Socrates, my best friend of the game, Arielle Max of Boreals. He was like, hey, temp gunner, how hot is she, or how warm is she? And she was like, I think the floor itself was like 87, 88, and her body was like 88 point something, and that's a little too warm. You know what I mean? I don't know, or maybe it wasn't, but all I know is, I mean, who fucking knows? Like, do we really know? We don't know unless we just keep doing it. You know what I mean?
I think there's one person that always knows. There's one person. It's the Chondro guru. Is Pat.
Patrick?
Yeah, Pat.
Dude.
Pat told me straight up. He was just like, you know, once
he's the one that told me about the heat. By the way, that was his analogy about the heat.
Yeah, he told me, you know, to put a heat pad underneath it, just underneath that lay box, so it doesn't get too hot. And I think that mine was sitting at like 81 or 82, something like that. And I didn't have any problems with that. But also, I've seen so many people go through this problem where, you know, the mothers seem to be dehydrated.
Yeah.
So, you know, I soak mine every 4 to 5 days. I know some people, they think it's crazy, but I didn't have a single egg stuck in there. And I think that my mothers were very hydrated. And I think that that's a big part of a lot of problems with chondros. It's hard to get them to drink, especially with the babies. And that's why you got to spray them so much. Like, dehydration is a big issue.
I mean, I thought about this over other things that have issues after they ovulate. And I know we're mainly talking chondros, but I mean, you gotta understand how many people have basins or emerald northerns that ovulate, and then there's issues of those coming out. And it always comes down to either a dehydration or a calcium deficiency, right? I think, because I ask all these breeders, like, do you soak your emerald at all? And they say no. All I do is, like, I make sure they drink, quote unquote, right? But like, I have an emerald like this one right here behind me, bro. Like, I spray the shit out of her, but every other day she'll go like a lazy fucking fat ass and just dump her head in the water and just sit there and just drink and just chug. And I'm like, damn. And I'm talking about for like a good 10 minutes. You know what I mean? So it's like, at the end of the day, like, yeah, you can only assume it's drinking so much water by spraying it or having a water bowl there. But when you have that thing submerged in water, not fully to where it's like freaking out, but if you have it where its head could go down and have water, all it has to do is open its mouth and just get water in its mouth. You know what I mean? And then it can breathe when it wants. But that, dude, I'm definitely doing that, Travis. Because like I said, this girl right here is literally ovulating as we're speaking. And okay, here's another thing, right? I have a couple ball pythons every year for whatever reason. They go well past over 30-day prelay shed. And it does kind of freak me out, right? So I'm like, okay, well, get the snake moving first and foremost, have it moving a little bit, and always give it a soak. So every time I have an issue with a ball python needing to lay eggs, I take it out for a few minutes, I soak it for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then literally 2 days later, at most, there's eggs on the ground. I swear to God, every time I do that.
I think it's a big part of it, but I think you also hit on something earlier that it's a big part of it too, which is calcium. And I think that people, hey, don't pull that thing. Pull that thing back. I gotta talk. My kid's acting crazy. But I think that the thing with the calcium is a real thing. Chondro people tell you, don't give them calcium for this, and that reason. But I give mine calcium. Not only do I give mine calcium, I give them polyvisol without iron. And my vet told me to do that. He said it'll work now, and it definitely help you later on with these snakes because they lose so much nutrients with these frozen thawed feeders because as they sit in the freezer, they lose the oils and they lose the minerals,
right,
to the point where you got a dehydrated piece of meat that's basically void of nutrients. So I re-add that back in the form of polyvisol, and it gives a little oil content. But I've seen it helped a lot. Like the mother of my sarong biot clutch, like she prolapsed
right.
years ago. And she was small at first, and I was told she was male. I was sold to her by your boy.
Who?
He sold
Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sold it to me as a boy, but it was actually a girl, and it was small for a boy. So he suggested the polyvisol, and she's great. She did well. She bounced back real quick from her lay as well. So I think that we got to talk about the hydration of the rodents, because I gave them water also. I know people say that they don't want to add water to it, but I don't understand who wants to eat dry ass food all the time.
This is what got me to start following you. And when I first saw this, because at first, there's that snake or Da Vinci boa, right? That calcium liquid that people use, that a lot of ball python and ball python breeders use, that Da Vinci boa, and I used to kind of just thought that was like a marketing thing, but then I actually brought that guy on one of my podcasts and we talked more about it. Then I came across your success with chondros, and then I just kind of I just started going through your page, and then I saw that you implement something like this, and I'm trying to get on shit like this because I got if you want to talk about certain breeders not opening their mouths about shit that they do, is stuff like this. People don't understand that a lot of people boost up calcium for a female that's about to lay or whatever the case is. This needs to happen during situations when breeding and keeping chondros, bro, for sure. 110%.
You need to double it on, probably the month or 2 months before you go into breeding. And then while they're in their breeding, they're going through a lot. It's probably stressful for them to have somebody else in their cage that's constantly trying to, hump them. So, they're probably burning through those nutrients. So, you double it, give them a little bit more, and just make sure you add a little bit more water to those feeders. And I know everybody's going to do different things, and, people are going to say that sounds ridiculous. But, when your food comes from the store or whatever, they're going to tell you it's better to eat fresh food than frozen food. So why would you think it'd be the same for animals? And if you ever held a rat, caught a rat in your garage or something, it's wet, it's oily, it's greasy. So why would you think you want to feed your animal a dry rat?
Yeah. And it's crazy because I used to be opposed to the whole because it's kind of gross, all the rats in a bucket, and it's but at the end of the day, it's ensuring so many things with that meal. And mind you, for the most part, that meal is a lot bigger. That meal's a lot bigger than what it's eating in the wild. Let's be honest. This thing is fucking consuming something that is probably 3 times double the size bigger than what it normally is in the wild. And imagine, bro, how many times have we macked food and we're like, I need something to drink. Like, have you ever been so hungry you just go in on food and for whatever reason, I mean, I'm pretty good on making sure my drink's there, but like sometimes we've all been there where we needed a drink, you know? Imagine not having a drink at all and the drink never comes, you know, like, dude.
Yeah.
I pay attention to that. Like the way I make sure I drink my water, how I like my shit. I think about the animal too, bro. That's why I don't understand motherfuckers who go 1 week without changing their waters. Like, how the fuck do you do that? Like, that don't make any sense to me. Like, I like that right there is just cruel. But also too, like, you know, I've noticed, like, not with the chondros, but I've noticed with emeralds, after a couple days or so, they won't even touch their water. They won't give a shit. If that shit's fresh, they don't care. So I mean, what does it have to tell you right there? It's like I don't know.
So with the water changes, one thing about the water changes, like, yeah, you can let it go for a week, but you know, after about 3 or 4 days, like your ones that you constantly see drinking, they're not even gonna go towards it. I got a male that likes to play in his water all the time, and I like it. But like after a week of it being in there, he won't go towards it. So I try to get to change it every 5 days, 4 days if I'm lucky. The babies, you got to change their water every day or every other day. It just depends on if they crap in it or not. So like water is really important to them, especially with spraying them. Once they become adults, they don't need spraying as much, but I think you need to try to spray twice a week. You spray any more than that, you might start having fungal infections and scale rot.
Yeah.
So I think that the water is just as important as the food. And I think a lot of people see like the water change is just ornamental, just something you do, but they do drink the water.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like they drink it because at the end of the day, like what's a snake got to do other than just sit in that box? Like it's going to get thirsty, you know, and you know, one thing to capitalize that you brought up earlier, during my trout, right when we first got hit with the cold front here in California, obviously when the cold comes here, it just gets dry as shit where I'm at. Like it gets really bad. So one of the things I fucked up on when I left, excuse my language, I'm sorry. You have headphones, so they can't hear you, right?
You're good.
But
they hear me say it all the time.
One of the things I messed up on my trip to New York last December was I was gone for about 4.5, 5 days. And my wife asked me, do you need me to spray anything in the podcast room? This is the podcast room. I told her, no, don't worry about it. But I've had my males who've been locking and rocking their females for like over a month. You know what I mean? So not only did they go that 3-day mark without having that fresh water, when I got home, it was dry as shit. Like it was too dry. So stress, dehydration, and not enough humidity will definitely rock your fucking male over to the RI or to a place where it won't be healthy. So my 2 males, when I came home, had RI. They got RI because of that shit, bro. And they're just now turning the corner right now after getting hit with RI in December. But if I would have been on top of that humidity, just that spraying and everything like that, I wouldn't be dealing with this right now. But also if I would have been kind of making sure the calcium was up and cracking, it's just simple things like this is what kind of makes you make sure that you don't run into problems when problems might come. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So even, you know, with supplementation and things like that, there's still things you got to watch for. And I think, you know, I've heard from people, they've told me like these crazy temperatures they keep their chondros at. And one thing about it is I'm a firm believer in ambient. So I keep mine in my garage. And during the pandemic, you know, I was bored. So I only worked like a week on, a week off. So I was like, well, you know, I only got to go to work for a week, you know, out of the 2 weeks, still get paid. So I remodeled my garage and I installed a mini split. And the thing about the mini split that I figured out that I was looking into is if you turn it around in the summertime and, you know, you keep it on cool, but you keep it really low, your humidity stays high. And in the wintertime, if you flip it around and you keep it on heat, but you keep it on really low, your humidity stays really high. So my ambient temps are the same year round, except the 2 times I was pairing. And I didn't have an issue with that. In the 4 years I had 2 RIs. One that came from a snake that the mother, this wrong Biog mother, she got an RI because I was still keeping her in that dumbass Exoterra.
Right.
Then I realized I had to change. And then I had another one get an RI, but that one had Nido, so it turned around real quick. It basically doubled over and killed and died in a matter of days. So I don't really have problems with RI. Plus, I run an air filter, probably, a few hours a day. But when it comes to temps and ambient, is more important than people think it is. Because if your room is at, 55 degrees and you're trying to heat the room and you're trying to heat the cage up to like 88, like you're killing a bunch of that moisture and you're killing that humidity.
Yep.
So you're not creating a good environment for that animal. But trying to tell people that, and, in practice of what they're going to do is going to be very different. That's why, when I ask people, I really like to know how they're doing it in their own environment. Plus, I live in a canyon. I basically live in the desert.
You're in Texas, right?
Yeah, I live far west of San Antonio, so I don't even live in the city of San Antonio.
Okay.
Well, thank you. So I live. There's not even a name for it. It's just a damn canyon. So it's humid and dry.
A damn canyon.
It's just a canyon, man. I look out. If I go outside right now, like I hear coyotes mating and screaming and hooting and hollering
and eating shit.
We got foxes. Yeah, we got foxes everywhere. I remember when we first moved here, I had to shoot a hog in the front. So like we had hogs everywhere.
Damn.
Yeah.
So the boots are necessary. Why are people? Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up with your crew? Why's your crew coming at you so hard sometimes? When you're probably the most player out of the fucking whole entire bar, the whole what is it, Chondro bar? Is that what you guys got going on?
Yeah, man, I harass the hell out of them. I make fun of them all the time. They just get me back, man. I don't take it. It's not serious to me, and we have fun with it, but. Thank you for this little girl's hat. I'll wear it for a little bit. There you go. But yeah, we have fun. That's the whole thing about the Condro bar room is just having fun. We don't take it seriously. We have people come on and talk, but most of the time the Condro bar room, it goes off the rails. So you might get 10 minutes of snake talking, and the rest of us we just harassing each other.
But I gotta think it's it's pretty awesome to see somebody creating a community with other inspired and just people who are passionate about the same shit, which is the Chondros. You know what I mean? I think it's awesome. I hope you guys keep that shit going, man. I think it's great.
We did it for the same reason you're doing what you're doing. It's hard sometimes to talk to the Chondro people sometimes, especially if you're newer.
Are you talking about like Chondro, like the established Chondro community before like us newbies got in? Like, are you talking about old Chondro heads or like the Facebook Chondro heads? Or are you talking about like even newer Chondro heads are sometimes hard to talk to? Who are we talking about here?
I'm gonna let you read between the lines. But you know how it goes because you see the new people ask questions and there's like 5 people. That there'll be one person that gives some really good information. And then there'll be 5 people be like, "What do you mean? You're crazy. Why would you do this?" And I'm in a class for my degree program. It's Python programming, and my teacher had to put something up when we do discussion posts that says you gotta respond to your classmates in an orderly fashion and be gentle because that's how nerds do each other. They treat each other really bad. Because they think that they're smarter, that makes them better. But it just turns people off. So, and I feel like a lot of people, they went that route. And I think that's why Instagram is cool because people talk to each other. There's newer people. We can share information. And the Chondro bar room, we don't really share that much information. We be clowning around. But you might get a little bit of information. I'm not going to lie to you.
But at the end of the day, like, okay, information comes how it should come, but it's about the vibe, like bringing people together to where, like, listen, it ain't got to be all you. First and foremost, you ain't got to be top G geek and Mr. Know-It-All to be fucking likable in this group. Like, if you fuck with what we fuck with, then come on board. You know what I mean? What I don't like is, like, you know, and this isn't the whole entire Condro community, but
it's definitely not.
No, yeah. So the taste of the, like, shit that I didn't like were, like, some of the people who were able to build something where a lot of, like, successful Condro breeders come and share their stuff on your page. That shouldn't give you any kind of clout whatsoever. You know what I mean? But, you know, that my biggest thing is, like, tearing down somebody simply asking a question. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, as much as like, bro, my very first Condro was kept under a heat bulb. I gave it a daylight bulb and a red bulb for nighttime. That thing was over 90 degrees all the time, and I just didn't know better. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But now look at me. You know what I mean? It's like, so I don't ever, like, I mean, how can you be hard on someone who's just like first and foremost, they don't have any, maybe they have no friends in the game. They don't, like, they're trying to figure it out, bro. You know what I mean? But you know, but isn't it a true or false thing when, for majority of us who come into this, have no friends in the game? Like, we stumbled across a YouTube video or a fucking reel or something to where, like, hey, I'm into it, and then now we're just nobody. And human nature, when you come into something and you have nothing on your resume, you feel like you want to latch on to something so you feel wanted, and that's just how it goes. You know what I mean?
So I would say you're right. Like, you're true. That's true. I'll tell you one thing that the Chondro groups did do at the beginning that was really smart is they would assign you a mentor. And mine was Thaddeus Sauls from TLS.
Wait, what? Wait. Who
he helped me out a lot.
Time out. Pause, brother. What? Who assigned you a mentor? Where was this at?
This was in, I think it was Morelia Veritas page. Like, you can ask, there was a post, and it was just like, if you want a mentor, put your name in here and we'll assign you a mentor. And they assigned me Thaddeus Sauls. Hey, man, I'm not lying, man. It was there.
That's sick. I do, bro. I never knew about this. And Thaddeus, shout to Thaddeus. He's been more on the DL side of things now, but still, like, that motherfucker has some sick shit. But anyways, yeah, continue, please. I'm listening.
So Thaddeus Sauls, man, he was my mentor. I tried to get in contact with him. I haven't heard from him in a while. But, you know, then I met Kino, because I had put a post into the group, and I was like, hey, man, it seems like it's really hard to get a female. Man, these dudes clown the hell out of me. And I was just like, man, fuck y'all. I'm not going to ask y'all nothing else no more.
Fuck you,
so
say it to my face.
I hooked up with Kino. I hooked up with Kino, and Kino, man, that dude has helped me ever since with getting just about everything I needed. And he introduced me to more people. And they helped me do things.
Kino's my very first black Chondro keeper homie I've ever had. Like, and what I mean by that,
5 of us.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like 5
and when I found out, I was like, because I remember Kino, like, he was like, hey, he's like, you know, because I used to bump, you know, I still do, but I would bump some Chicago rap music, some drill music and shit, and you know, he's from Chicago, so he's like, what you know about that shit? And I'm like, what you know about it? I'm like, oh shit, Windy City. I was like, oh damn, and he keeps Chondros. I was like, we need more of this. And bro, this was like 3 years ago. And I love seeing that. And honestly, bro, like, I got caught into my own whiff the things. And what brought me back to Kino is the Chondro bar that you guys started. And I was really happy to see that this motherfucker is still in the game, just doing his thing, laying low. Like I love that the Chondro community could have people that you could have so much respect for who just lay low and do their thing. You know what I mean? You know, because ball python people are loud, you know, like YouTube here, look at me here, like all this like collaboration, which is a good thing. Chondros, it's more let my snakes do the talking. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing about Kino is Kino is hard. He's working hard right now. And, you know, don't take your eyes off Kino. Like,
no, never that.
Kino's about to do it big. I'm not trying to tell everybody, but Kino's about to do it big. When I first came in, I knew Kino. I knew Corey Glass. I eventually met Oso. I met Rain, who used to keep Chondros. Recently, I met Mark Robinson. I met Dre early on too, and Dre had Chondros.
Hey, can I pause you real quick? Can I pause you real quick, Travis? Because You said a homie that I used to be good homies with. Like we weren't like we respected each other, and I followed him, he followed me, and one morning I was in my feelings, bro. And Oso is like, he's not a dark individual, but he'll bring you some reality type shit sometimes. You know what I mean? And this dude, he posted a video of a, and this is only because my own PTSD, and he was creating awareness, but I got really offended by it. And it was a German Shepherd. I think it was 2 German Shepherds just tearing apart a Chihuahua or a small dog. And I was like, and that right there, bro, like my little dog got taken out by my pit bull, and that happened right in front of me. You know what I mean? And I just, without even asking him why he posted it, it fucking really made me mad. So I just unfollowed him, and I wish I wouldn't have done that, because I gotta say, I like that guy. That guy's sick as fuck. He's somebody I fuck with. But I was a weenie, bro. So also, if you're listening to this, bro, I think I'm still cool with you. And I fuck with you, but I love dogs too much, bro. Like, also, he's something else, bro.
Yeah, I don't exactly remember that, but like
I fuck with him.
Like,
I'm sorry. I just want to say I fuck with him. I fuck with him. That's all I gotta say, bro. That's all. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people post things that people don't generally like, but Oso has always been really, really good to me. He helped me through my first clutch, like the entire way. Like even when I was tripping, he was like, "Yo, you gotta calm down." Like he was trying to talk me off the ledge. I was just like, I don't think it's working. But also one thing about Instagram is, people, they don't necessarily like things that people post, and it's not my place to tell somebody what to post. I could suggest things to you. Like I've seen people, talk about, should we do live feedings? Should we show this? Should we show that? I'm not the Instagram police, and I've spent my fair share of time in Facebook jail. So right. I'm not trying to get people in trouble. But yeah, like getting back to it, like Oso was big. He helped me out. And there's like 2 other guys. I think one of them I had like a brief conversation with, but it didn't go anywhere. But there's not really that many of us, to be completely honest. I know Marlon from Exotic Keeper Vision. He's coming online. I think Marlon will be somewhere sitting pretty in a couple years from now. That's pretty much it. But besides Black people, there's another person that you guys need to keep looking out for, and that's Bill Hoffman from Country Boy Condros, and probably Noel in the future as well.
Who's Noel? Who's Noel? Why does Noel sound familiar?
Because she's the nicest person with snakes that you're ever gonna meet.
What's her Instagram? Does she have an IG, or what does she have?
She's on IG under Omega Serpents.
Omega Serpent, and we're talking a female keeper.
Yes, she's really nice.
I love female. I definitely feel like this entire industry needs more female keepers. But tell me more about Omega Serpents. I want to hear about this.
So Noelle, from what I can understand, how she got this amazing snake. She got an amazing sarong that I break into a house right now if I could get away with it. But she got an amazing sarong, and it's beautiful. And she also got a snake from Garrick, which is actually pretty nice. And she's getting snakes from other people too. So, I feel like Noelle is gonna be great. I also feel like Bill Hoffman from Country Boy. Bill has an arsenal. You should just hit him up and ask him to show you all the amazing stuff he has.
I know Bill too. Here's the thing. Bill's another person. It was more like Bill wanted help, and he went against my help, but went against a lot of other people's help at that time, like a lot of new people do. Like, mind you, Bill was just new into the Emerald game, and he was dealing with the regurgitation and whatever. I gave him my steps, other people gave him steps, and then there was like a slip up, and so, and mind you, this is a few years ago, and this is when I'm at a place now where I understand people fuck up, and sometimes even if you give them advice, they're still going to want to do what they want to do. I'm one of them. Like, I've gotten advice from the best who are doing it, and I still did something that I felt was necessary when it wasn't necessary. So, I'm not at a place where I don't judge like that. I don't want to judge ever anybody. Like, sometimes you have to go with your own intuition and feel what's right. And if it's not right, you have to go with that learning lesson. But anyways, Yeah, Bill is somebody I saw come into the game about 3 years ago. And he was really excited, and I saw him buying shit, and he was somebody who was posting, like very active, posting on Facebook, and God, man, that's ballsy to do. When you're posting that much on Facebook, you're gonna get attacked, or you're gonna, like, something's gonna happen from some asshole, right? And so so yeah, another guy I gotta salute my hat to, Bill Hoffman, for coming into the game.
You gotta understand, like, Bill as a guy, like, Bill is, if you ever got a fight to go to, Bill's probably one of the first people that you should ever call. Great person.
It's good to know.
And you know that, like, once you, like, we've all done stuff that people didn't necessarily tell us was good. And that's why I didn't post a lot of things in the Facebook groups, because, everybody gets attacked. So I would tell you, man, one thing about interacting with people in the Chondro community is just, don't take everything personally, and understand that people are going to do things completely different, and they're not doing you a disservice sometimes when they're doing something that you wouldn't do, or even when they don't even take your advice, even if they ask for it. And you just gotta, like, interacting with people with their animals. They may have something different going on, or there may be something, when they ask you for advice, there may have been something that they left out. So I don't take any of that stuff personally a lot of the time. But Bill's a wonderful dude.
Especially if you're good at keeping side conversations solid, like Patrick. Like, we're talking about Patrick. Patrick's somebody where, if I really feel like there's an issue, I mean, I won't ever take it to a fucking Facebook group. I'm gonna go straight to Patrick. I'm like, Patrick, I need your help. You know what I mean? But not a lot of people understand that there are Patricks and stuff out there. Hopefully, if you hear this out there, if you want to have the best case scenario on getting knowledge in Facebook, find whoever the best is in that group. Whether if you're in a fucking Condro group or an Emerald group, reach out to Ed Marino, reach out to Patrick, Bill Stiegel, Mark Hager. Like, if there's a big time question you need an answer to, and you don't want to feel like you're embarrassed, dude, you're not going to be embarrassed one-on-one with any of those guys. Those guys, there's no stupid question to those guys, especially Patrick. You can try to think of the most stupidest question to ask Patrick. He will flip it around and be on the phone with you for like 3 hours, and you'll be like, holy shit, like, wow, I can't believe it. Well, tell me about the fucking RO water again.
Yeah, as far as Chondros go, like, there's also James Smith, who is very smart. And there's also Matt Moores that you can get a hold of.
James is an OG, dog. James, that's a Facebook. There's certain people worth being on Facebook for. James Smith, one of them. I gotta tell you that right now.
Yeah. James Smith is one of them. Thaddeus Sauls is one of them. I don't know. I don't know if he disappeared or what. But there's
Thaddeus.
Yeah,
he's still around. The last time I talked to Thaddeus was about a little over a year ago, where there was a fake Underground Reptiles fucking thing putting his work out on the website, and I did like a vlog on it, but then he disappeared after. Not disappeared, but like he just stopped being active, but that's the thing, man. Like, goddamn, you think that what we do, like, for instance, I look at what we do like forever for life, right? But for instance, we don't know what could happen to us to where we're not doing what we were once doing, and that's scary to think. Like, I don't know. Like, I hope he's okay, but you never know,
Yeah, I mean, I think that, life is like that in most cases.
Right.
Like, you're going to have a time where you're building, and you're going to get to a point where you're just like, damn, I'm at the top of the mountain, but eventually you got to come back down that mountain. And when I was listening to when you had the mayor of Condro Town, Bill Stiegel, on.
Yeah, buddy.
He said in 10 years.
Wait, what's good? Listen, I have to get this approved through the right department, but what's up with you going to Arlington in September and you going to Bill Stiegel's pre-party? I mean, somebody like you needs to be there. Like, it don't make sense.
I'm going in September.
Right,
I didn't know I was supposed to be at Bill Stiegel's special soiree. But
yeah, I mean, I'm telling you,
if I'm invited, I'll go.
Yes, please do. And wear your boots.
It'll be me and a +1. It'll be me and Bill Hoffman. So he's coming with me.
Is Bill from Texas?
No, Bill's from Mississippi. He from the same place most of my mom's family is from,
You're
Central
that
Mississippi.
you're that tight with Bill to where if I and by the way, bro, no offense, but I didn't give you a +1. Okay, so I wouldn't just invite anyone just yet. Okay, but I'm just saying, just kidding. But you're telling me with this +1 that I will give you, out of all the homies, you're gonna give this to Bill Hoffman. Like you're putting that much clout on this guy right now is what you're saying.
Hey man, if Bill told me to come with a bag of guns, I'm coming with a bag of guns. It don't matter.
Bill, I got mad respect for you right now, dog. I'm telling you right now. I gotta say, a new level of respect for Bill Hoffman after what I just heard. And you know what? Yeah, both of you guys. I'll talk to Bill. I'll get it approved. And yeah, please, you and Bill Hoffman roll through to Bill Stiegel's fucking pre-party, which is, I mean, I'm just telling you, like, it's majority a bunch of sick-ass ball python breeders we're all trying to convert. That's literally the goal every time behind a Bill. Like, Bill's like, hey, he'll come to me like, hey, MJ, who do we need to bring this time? And I'm like, well, you know, like, you have this guy. It's in my head, I'm like, I got all these fucking big-time baller-ass ball python breeders who just are dying to go to Bill's. But, I mean, bro, like, come on now. Like, if anything, you're going to be helping us trying to commit this fucking wave of, like, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, the world needs more Chondro keepers. Am I right or wrong? Let's be real, Travis.
Yeah, I think it's right. I think that the newer generation, we have more access to animals now than I think we ever had in the past too. And you know, that's, you know, some of it's good, some of it's bad, but you know, I think people are looking for information about taking care of chondros that is hard to get sometimes. Like, for instance, if you want to go read the MVF, you have to go to the Tap Talk app, and then you have to search on essentially whatever you want to search on. And I'm used to doing stuff like that, but that's different for other people who are younger. And I think that's why they ask questions that, you know, a lot of people would go and read and research because they just don't understand it.
Right.
But yeah, for sure. Like, if I'm invited to Bill's party, I'll be there. But back to what Bill said, he said in 10 years that his collection wouldn't look like this. And I understand where he's coming from. Because I remember once my dad retired, you know, the second time he retired, his life was different. As you get older, you can't stay attached to things because you have other things that you need to do. You got grandchildren, you got to go here, you got to go there. So I understand as we get older, our lives change, and as much as we love our animals, we may not always have the time and commitment to give them the very best that we can give them.
Right. And correct me if I'm wrong, you know, because there are people like, okay, biggest cringiest fucking thing I can't stand is when there's a quote unquote know-it-all keeper of somebody who's barely been keeping the thing for like 2-3 years, or you know what I mean? And there's certain species where you could pull that off, like retics. I had a big conversation last night about retics could only go through so much until they go through neglect, but there are so many people out there, and you know, there are other species of keepers that just go through neglect. But what I'm saying is, nowadays, if a new chondro breeder, or excuse me, not even a breeder, let's put that aside. If a new chondro keeper comes into this game and they go through that whole, I'm going to do the minimal shit. They're going to be pushed out and scared out of this shit so quick, because when you get into the chondros and you have that OCD over like, oh, is the water clean? That's first and foremost is a good thing, right? But once you're once you get to that establishment stage, it's like pushing down a heavy truck down a hill, but you're able to have the brakes. Like, you could coast it. Like, it's easy. It's all maintainable. Water changes every other day, spray every other day. You know what I mean? And then you feed. And then obviously once shits, by the way, we didn't talk about substrate. What do you use for substrate? Because that was my next thing. I mean, I'm a big puppy pad guy. Puppy pads do the humidity and they do the cleaning up of shit very easily. What's your choice of substrate? Let's talk about that.
I only use puppy pads, except with the babies who use paper towels. But with
same thing. Yeah.
But before then, you know, I had to come to a realization that you can't use reptile chips, and that was, I had went through a few different styles of substrate. At first, I was going to Walgreens and trying to buy newspapers, and you know, people don't read newspapers anymore, so newspapers aren't that easy to find. So then, you can buy unprinted newspaper, and that works for a while. But I remember Sauls told me use the puppy pads, and that was a game changer.
Right.
But
Yeah,
as far as new keepers, like trying to do things and trying to do the bare minimum, it doesn't work. And I think that chondros, far more than a lot of other reptile species I've seen, they can turn real quick when you don't watch them, and it seems to happen really fast when you're not looking at them, and then you just got a mega problem on your hands.
Alexa, turn off all lights. It just be like that sometimes. You said that's how baller it is sometimes in the chondro life. You feel me? You just turn things off when you just say so. No, but honestly, I got that maneuver came from Socrates. I gotta say, bro. I wouldn't not be on top of the shit that I'm on top of when it comes to just like eye attention to detail, water changes, if it wasn't for the emeralds and chondros. Because like I said, my first taste of death came from a chondro. My very first ever getting smacked in the fucking balls to where I was fetal position in the corner. And at that time, my dad used to come over and help me with like heating. And like my dad was just my dad's still my guy. Like he's still my number one. But at that time he was coming over every day and I didn't know he was coming over. So I thought I could just act out and be what I was being. And he came, and he came over. He saw me on the ground. He's like, son, what's the matter with you? I'm like, and I was crying. I lived to 30. I was 33 years old. This is like 5 years ago, crying, bro. Like my fucking snake died. I don't know what I did wrong. I was like, Dad, I'm never gonna own something like this ever again. Like this is it. And because I was so scared how expensive they were, I was literally just broke back then. Just like anything I got, I thought I was never gonna have again, right? But literally, bro, that experience had this man on the ground. And then my dad told me, he's like, son, you shouldn't be doing this if you can't get your shit together. And I was like, you're right. I was like, and then I had another good friend at the time who told me, like, bro, like this is not for the faint at heart. Like if you're an emotional person to where like you think because of the money and time you put in, it's going to equal and guarantee success. You're wrong, buddy. Like you're going to get put through the ringer. And I was like, bro, like we are like, no matter what the species is here, Travis, we're working with living things. Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing determines the guaranteed of any life. Even you and me, bro, we could wake up tomorrow and wake up with fucking something on our face, on our neck, or whatever. Like, I'm just saying, like, these snakes, like my first, man, you want to talk about when I first experienced Nido, my one and only time, thank God. I had a Numford female, beautiful female, getting locked, getting rocked. Everything was looking well. And I see her getting like almost what's happening here. She was getting big. I came in the next morning, rolled out, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then my boy Alan at the time's like, bro, cut her open. Like, see if there's really eggs in there. Sure enough, 16 connected eggs, man. And it was, I don't know if it was just the process is what pushed her over, but she didn't make it. And when I tested that animal and I came back positive, I thought it was all over, bro. Like I was like, this is it. I was like, this is what Forrest Fan. Do you ever know who Forrest Fanning was? Rest in peace.
I never met Forrest. I think I knew of Forrest. I knew of Forrest probably. I think I might have known of Forrest after he died. But also, one thing about animals in general that you gotta kind of look at is like you don't necessarily know what is going on with chondros because they don't tell you. So them dropping dead. Hey man, I'm telling you, man, Bill's a wonderful dude, man, a wonderful dude. But I tried to tell this to several people about getting snakes and then selling snakes, and they're just like, it's this, it's that, it's a business. And I tried to tell them like, you don't necessarily know what's going to happen to every snake. And it's hard to predict having a business. And what you should be hoping for is that you make the money back that you spent. Right. And then if you got profit left over, you build from that. But it's difficult with chondros, especially because with RI infections, you don't know if this thing is going to be able to like kick it in over a month or it dies after 2 days. And with Nido, if you've seen an animal die from Nido, it dies really fast.
Or sometimes it
and
doesn't. So here's the thing, though. Sometimes it doesn't, Travis. And what I mean, because if you want to talk about a real homie, and Forrest was a real homie because he used to share all his like nightmare experiences with dead chondros to me personal. Like we would be on the phones for hours telling me about like the most like dude, he had a Jayapura. I don't know if you ever followed him, and he had this blue Jayapura. Like, and this thing passed away after he passed away, but still like. He had multiple snakes like this blue Jayapura that just didn't go the distance. I don't know if there was a fucking curse in his room or I don't know if there was something going around, but all I got to know is that there are certain snakes that can deal with certain illnesses, and then there's some snakes that can't. Chondros are the one snake where it's so hit or miss. And what I mean by that, okay, is you could have the one Nido positive snake in your room that is eating, breeding, doing everything normal, right? But then other things are dying off. Okay. Yeah. And so this is why first and foremost, I did panic because when I found, this is why I panicked. Socrates had just became one of my good friends during that time. And I knew I had to face this. And what I meant by that is like, I had to go tell him, bro, this snake just died of Nido. And, but before I even had to tell him, I already knew he was going to tell me, you need to fucking test everything in that room. Okay.
Yes.
And Sock is my boy, to where I had over 60 swabs ready to fucking rock and roll for this exact fucking reason. Okay. So you have different avenues of going about this. Okay. If you have a snake that dies in your room and you go swab it, comes back positive. Okay. You could do two things. You can either say, fuck, I better keep an eye on everything and see what else goes down south and take that risk and hope to God that nothing else is in the air or nothing else is drinking or that whatever that fucking male breeding doesn't take it. If you want to do that, you could do that and just see and just literally take care of things as they die. Or you could lock, first and foremost, this room was already kind of locked in. Like this, when that happened, there was nothing really coming in or leaving, right? So I was like, I want to test everything because worst case scenario, like let's just say, okay, 3 more animals came back, Nido'd, right? Now I have for sure Nido in this room. All that means is this room is locked up. That means nothing leaves, nothing goes. Okay.
Well,
doesn't mean the baby, because here's the thing. There's so many people out there who probably have Nido proven fucking snakes that are alive, but the babies don't have it. So if you have a system out there where, and mind you, here's the thing. There's people who do this, but still sell the sick animal. And that's where you're fucked up. Okay. That's where you're a piece of shit. But you just can't, I mean, the whole first option of ignoring it and letting things just die, that's a bad game plan. I got to tell you that right then and there. You got to know what has what and who has what, and you need to lock that shit down. And that's how it works. I feel like, I don't know. What do you think?
So I'll go on my Nido tangent.
Let's go.
When I came back into it in 2018, I was hearing about Nido, and I was in the Facebook groups just being a creep, and I was hearing the whispers of Nido and this and that. And then once I got a snake, and then I got a second one, I said, okay, well, I can test these things. So the first one was in a different place, and the second one was in a closet downstairs that I eventually had to give my wife back. And I tested it, and it was Nido positive. So once it came in, it was Nido positive. It remained in quarantine, and I moved it up here. And then the rest of the snakes, well, the other snake, it was up here, and then it went to the garage or went somewhere else. So every snake that I got from there on out, it got Nido tested before it came here. And
yeah,
as soon as it gets here, it gets Nido tested again after when it first gets here, and then it gets Nido tested again after it goes through quarantine and gets some stress tests. But the thing about Nido is, from my experience, because I've had 2 Nido snakes, one was asymptomatic, and it turned at about 10 months of me having it, had a bad shed, died in 2 days. The other one, fortunately, I was able to swap it out, get another snake, and send that snake over to Pia Bartolini and Cody. And I found out recently that it had died. But So
you set that over for what? Like just because it was Nido positive, or why'd you say?
Yeah, that was a deal. I get my swap snake, and then the Nido positive goes over to them, and eventually Nido. I think that the thing with Nido is yeah, an animal can be asymptomatic, but it can only be asymptomatic for a while. And one thing that I've heard from several people is that when you try to breed asymptomatic chondros, is that they do turn quickly. And I had a conversation with somebody, well, kind of. And this is, we're gonna bring up Bill again. Bill had no, it wasn't Bill, it was Mikey Marsh, and he said, he's selling animals, he's Nido testing it before you get it. And people had objections to that. And I would expect that if I Nido test an animal before I send it to you, that you would Nido test it very quickly once I give it to you. But I think that we should get several rounds of tests on these animals. And Nido does hide. Sometimes you get false positives. Well, not false positives, you get false negatives. And we should continue to stay on top of this Nido thing. But I've been watching for a while, and I've seen collection sell-offs, and people come up with weird reasons, and people get these snakes that they got off these collection sell-offs, and then boom, they got Nido, and everything in the room has Nido as well too. So I've seen that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, this is why anyone out there who's like so hungry to get into this, and they come across somebody on the low, like, oh, I got some adults for sale or something, like dude, like, okay, I get it, like, I understand, like, oh my God, no, here's the thing, get them tested, quarantine. I mean, maybe not, I'm just saying, but like, a test should be the first and foremost thing you should ask for before anything. And if that seller isn't willing to say, well, here's the proof, or then keep it fucking moving. There's a reason behind it.
The thing is with some of these collection sell-offs, is this real shady. Like, it's just whispered to you, hey, I'm getting rid of all these animals. Like, and I personally wouldn't buy a snake from anyone at what I know now. I wouldn't buy a snake, and I wouldn't let you send it to my house if you didn't show me a Nido test after you told me about it. Like, I want a fresh Nido test. It's going into quarantine. It's gonna get Nido tested again. And I live like Dallas is 5 hours away. So when I ship things overnight to RAL to get tests, I get the results back the next day.
Yeah.
So I'll know really quick.
So do I in Cali. No. Here's the thing. In Cali, if I were to pay for the overnight, what's today? Monday. I will get the results Wednesday. So it's quick. It's super quick.
Well, for me, if I sent off a test today, I'll probably get the results by the time I get out of work and get in my car tomorrow.
Hey, coming from a soon-to-be dad, are your kids good? Why? What's your secret? How they go? They put themselves to sleep? What happened?
No, they did what all kids do. They follow their mother to wherever she goes.
Hey, listen, I didn't know if Mama Bear was out. I didn't know Mama Bear was at work. I wasn't too sure what was happening. So I was like,
she had to go to class. She had to go to class and she came back. Listen,
that's some ninja shit. I was like, that's some ninja shit right there, bro.
I'm not special. You're not gonna be a special dad either. Get over it. Your kids, they gonna come out and they're gonna pretend to like you when you got food in your hand
or toys,
or when you got candy in your hand. And then as soon as a mom pops up, they're gonna just run off behind her. So my wife got home. She showed her face. They got up and they chased her.
Well, see you later.
That's just how that works, man.
Good, beautiful. But listen, to kind of go back to what we were talking about here. First and foremost, Joe Switolski, the name that we just brought up, not intentionally, but half this shit came from Joe. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Right. But also, like, there was a time and a place where, like, you got I called them combo meals. Like you go to Jack in the Box, I'll take a number 3, which is like a jumbo jack or like whatever. Right. So I felt like anytime you bought a Condro from Joe, it was like a random what combo is this going to be? Like, is this going to be like, holy shit, this is a female, not a male, or is this a male, not a female, right? Is it the sex, right? or is it like, holy shit, this is not the snake that he posted, but it's a better snake or it's a worse snake. Like that's another combo, right? Or it's like, you know, one of my favorite combos is like, holy shit, this snake's gravid. You know what I mean? So it's like, but it goes from great to worse. Like it doesn't matter. But man, here's the thing. Coming into this Chondro, like same as ball python stuff, right? Like it's sad, but it's the truth. In the ball python game, the only rookies getting noticed are the ones dropping the most money. Okay. And like that makes some people respect those people on a certain scale, and it makes other people like look at those people like clowns. You know what I mean? Like because you're just dumping, right? But let's talk about the Condro side of things. First and foremost, I know people who have deep enough pockets who just can't get in touch with a good, reputable, captive born and bred breeder. So sometimes they feel more comfortable going the import route. But import route can either make you or break you. True or false?
Yeah, true. So I went import route because I would send people messages. I'd be like, hey, this thing is ready to ship or ready to fly. And I would send people messages and be like, hey, tell me about this thing. And I would just get left on red. So I found a good importer, wonderful importer. You know, people may have their negative things to say about him, but he has always done me the absolute, he's always taken care of me. So I went import route, and I figured out that with imports, you know, there's one thing that you probably don't have to worry about all the time, which is Nido. You got a whole host of other things that you got to worry about, such as parasites, and
fucking,
you know,
scale rot.
Missing lures, like the caudal lures, like missing, or you know, you got some things that you might have to worry about once you get these snakes. But I feel like when you get a lot of imports, you work with them, you learn more about actually taking care of chondros. Because if I bought a captive bred animal, first of all, that animal came out of the egg into some dude's hand, and he probably treated it really well and fed it nice. It's plump, but you can get some imports like I've got one, my Biak male, a nightmare. He's cool now, but he's an absolute asshole most of the time. But you learn so much about chondros from going the import route. And now, you know, people offer me captive bred snakes. I'm just like, well, thank you now after years of trying to get these snakes. But I think is something that I wouldn't recommend for everybody. I think you would have to have the patience. You would have to be willing to have things die. You'd have to be willing to ask people questions and then get yelled at about why you did certain things, because you don't know. And you're just going to be learning constantly. But you know, if you are okay with that, then you can go the import route.
I mean,
you got to be real careful about what importers you use, because somebody might say, you know, I got this crazy looking Cyclops, and they don't really want to send you a picture of it. And then somebody else sends you a picture of it. They just like, this thing is not what they telling you.
I'm glad. Listen, okay, I'm gonna be real as fuck because I got nothing to hide. Joe, I just texted Joe the other day to make sure he wasn't in prison, because there was like a big article that came out about a big sting in Florida.
I saw it.
Yeah, and motherfuckers were like, "Oh, Joe's in prison." I'm like, "Nah." So it's been over a year since I talked to Joe, since my fucking my accident, and I hit him up. I'm like, "Yo, you good?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good." I'm like, "Are you know?" He's like, "I never got locked up," and because I heard he was still selling snakes, and so, you know, here's the thing, like I just realized, and it's not that I never realized this, but I know that there have been a lot of relationships I was able to attain in my life that benefited me tremendously, but not everyone else had that same experience. Joe Spitalski is a great example of this, because Joe was somebody to work. Because I got to tell you, first and foremost, I'm a fucking basket case. Okay, you send me a fucked up animal, and you try to do that, like where I feel like you did it trying to be shady, I'm gonna fucking come at you. And so I think the very first time, even before, and mind you, what got me and Joe to be as close as we once were was because of Forrest. Me, Forrest, and Joe, it was like a connection. Like we were all homies at one point, right? But I knew if there was a problem with my package, all it took was one simple text message of Joe knowing I'm not happy, and he would flip the script. Like he would reimburse me so crazy where I'm like, hey, I ain't even mad, bro. Like he'd be like, yo, keep that shit. I'm sending you something else. And I'll be like, what? Okay. And I'll be like, oh my God, you sent me this? So that was my first take with Joe. But then as I was like, I was like, that's my dog. Like Joe was hooking me up so fat where ask fucking which reminds me, because of this, it got me close to a lot of people I respect and love now. But for instance, Warren Booth. You ever heard of Warren Booth?
No.
Oh my God. Okay, so
I'm young,
Booth,
man. I'm
no,
a baby still.
I'm gonna put you on because Warren Booth, Dr. Booth, this guy is a G. Like he is top G. Like, okay. And so I'll connect you. Boa Booth on Instagram, but he respectfully was like, MJ, and like this is after I brought Warren on my show, and he's like, MJ, listen, I'm coming to you as a friend, but the way you are promoting this guy is only because he's done for you. He's like, but there are so many other scenarios where this isn't right, and I'm like, and in my eyes, I was like, okay, I'll be more quiet about it, right? But what happened was, that episode, I dropped an episode, I brought Joe on, and I just fucking just stroked him off the whole time. Like I made him just like, I was like, this is my boy, blah, blah, blah. Right. And so
I saw that episode.
Right. And so, you didn't have to say that, Travis. You could have just kept
I saw it though. Yeah. I saw it.
I know you saw it. Okay. But I'm like, Warren was the first red flag, meaning like, even though you're having a wonderful time over there, there's a lot of other people who aren't. And so until my own Patreon members, once my own Patreon members was joining my joining the family, going to that episode and getting animals, they would come to me like, hey bro, like I went through your, that guy Joe that you talked about. I bought a snake and this is what he sent me. And I'm talking about like, it just kept coming. And I'm like, bro, okay. So I literally had this text saved. It was a paragraph, like giving them instructions on what to do. And it was like, let them know that you're my tell Joe that I talked to you personally, and that, blah, blah, blah. And like, he would just ghost him, and he would just fucking just like not treat him the same that he was treating me. And
oh yeah. And
I'm just like, oh my God. And I'm like, bro, this is making me look really fucking stupid right now. And not only that, like my Patreon members that's like my fucking golden egg. Like I protect like they're paying me for support. And now they're trusting my word and getting animals that not even aren't theirs or what they ordered, but they're dead. You know what I mean? And so Joe is like, you ever meet girls who got psychotic baby daddies and that dude is like really nice to her, but like to everybody else, he's just fucking terrorizing them. Like that's what Joe is. He's the equivalent of that in the reptile industry. Now I'm gonna be honest, like Joe did help me, but Joe did try to play me. But the first time Joe was like completely honest. And because I got amazing clutch out of that, I'm not gonna go into it. And bro,
it just doesn't make any sense to kick Joe, especially while he's dealing with what he's dealing with right now.
No, but what I'm trying to say is the thing that I wish I would have known going into bringing Joe on was explaining to people is like, when you go in with big pockets to any casino and you leave empty-handed, the casino will give you maybe a fucking maybe you're like, hey, maybe come back again or something, right? But at the end of the day, don't get mad if the casino don't give you nothing. Like, you are gambling. When it comes to buying imports, when it comes to getting something from somebody who barely just got it themselves, and that's the thing with Joe. Like, I understand, like, okay, my favorite importer I ever dealt with ever since coming into this game was Dan Morey, okay? DM Exotics, okay? Because he was somebody. My first scrub that I ever bought, it didn't eat for me. And every email, he's guiding me. He's telling me, your freezer should have this. You should offer this. And then what made me happy, he's like, listen, if this snake is not eating by this date, I'll take it back. I'll give you a refund. What?
Yeah.
I I never heard that in my entire life. So I had this scrub in my hands for like 4 months, and I told him I can't get it to eat. He took it back. He gave me a full fucking refund. So I was like, clearly there are people who just like Dan cares about not only his customer service side of things, but like his name. You know what I mean? And no disrespect to Florida, but there are just importers out of Florida who don't give two shits what you got to say about them. Because at the end of the day, they're going to get their hands on something that you're going to want. And they rather just be known for that versus like, oh, he's a good fucking businessman. So you got to take it for what it is. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. I've never worked with Dan, but I've worked with Ryan Burke from Clockwork, and Ryan is
legit too. Shouts to Ryan Burke.
If I ever meet Ryan, I'm gonna give him a big hug. I know he's a big dude, but I gotta give him a hug if I ever meet him. But you know the thing about imports is to find a good importer, in my opinion, is that they understand necessarily what you're looking for and what you expect to get. So if you got to work with them a little longer, and also when it comes to importers and any other person I meet that's selling a snake. One thing about it is I don't haggle prices with them. Whatever they tell me the price is, like I'll pay you whatever you asking for if I really want it. But I'm gonna get that thing Nido tested. You're gonna send me a Nido test, and you're gonna give me a guarantee that after that thing gets here and I test it after it tried to bite me the first 2 days, that if it's Nido hot, because I'm gonna get the answer back real quick, that you're gonna take it back. If that's the deal that we can strike, I'm good, and I'll always be good.
Listen, I think this guy Kino's out of pocket for saying that. I never said this. I don't know what the hell this man is saying right now. I don't recall ever calling that guy Big Dick Joe, bro. That's fucked up. Maybe I did.
Yeah, I don't remember what you said on that first episode, but we're not gonna revisit it. We're gonna act like it didn't happen.
We're talking about
that first episode is like, it's like seeing you trip and fall on the ice, like in the wintertime. We gonna act like we ain't see it.
A lot, but listen, you ain't the only one watching me, and like it's funny because you guys know why I'm falling. Like it's like you could help me from falling, but I'm refusing the help.
Yeah.
I'm falling on my face.
But also at the time, like you didn't know any of that information about Joe, like because Joe's really private,
bro. Because Forrest fucking backed him up. Like here's the thing, like okay, mind you, Forrest passes away. I hear some other stuff that's happening, and I'm like, okay, that doesn't make me too happy. But yet, all this like Patreon shit, I didn't start a Patreon until after Forrest passed away. Well after Forrest passed away. So it turned into, I didn't even get to finish my story. So what got me to be like, fuck Joe, even though I'm not like fuck Joe anymore, but what made me to see like, oh, this is how he does people. Fuck all you. Like, oh, I'm over it, was when I thought I got my first Cyclops from him. I was very excited, bro. Very excited because this thing. Shut up! And Patrick, bro, Patrick was the first one to tell me like that's a BAC for sure. And then Brian Phillips, shout to the big homie Brian Phillips. Brian Phillips, who is like he has Cyclops shit from Gary, like he has real Cyclops shit. And he also broke it down to me like, MJ, I don't think that's Cyclops. And I'm not going to say it was Brian's certification that made me go in, Joe, but after I talked to Patrick, and Patrick was like, bro, look at the tail. He's like, simply look at the tail. And I was like, God damn it. It was a black fucking, typical BAC tail. But the body looked different, but like the tail, that tail tells
talk to Kino too. You should talk to Kino too.
I was so mad. And so by the way, like I said, I normally used to go out Joe upset, and he would fix it. So I went at him kind of upset, and he was not happy with my reasoning. He was like, oh, what the fuck does he know? And I'm like, are you kidding me, Patrick? I was like, oh, that's it. I was like, listen, fuck it. I told him, you know what? I told him, I was like, and that's what I told him. I'm never buying anything from you again. I was like, you made me look like a fool because I really thought that what I got from you was a Cyclops. And I'm not going to lie, I paid him extra type Cyclops money for it. You know what I mean? Because he got me. And,
he got me too, man. He sold me a BIAC I thought I was buying a sarong, and it died. And then years later, I showed it to Keno. And Keno was like, "That's a fucking biot."
Yeah.
And I was
And,
like, "Man."
and that snake died on me, bro. That snake that snake died after the first meal. I gave that thing a meal. I came in the next like 20 minutes later, rolled out dead with like it died with it in its stomach. And I'm like, what? And so, anyways, what are
You
you
gotta
gonna
let
do?
Joe live, man. That's in the past, man.
No,
Joe's
we're
fighting
good
fighting
now.
the case right now. This ain't
No.
helping him. The feds is watching.
Hey, listen, karma's a motherfucker, bro. Things catch up to you in life. And I'm not saying he deserves jail time or anything, but at the end of the day, I understand why people were so upset on how I was gloating him. And the only reason why I felt the way I felt is because I wasn't seeing the other side, because how well he was taking care of me. Okay. But I also now understand that it's an importer. The majority of importers, if you go to Arlington, right, and you get a snake off a fucking table, I guarantee that snake just arrived. Like I guarantee that snake had just came from the other side of the fucking world, and now it's with you. So if you want a discount, and that's all I do, like I'm talking about coming in on a budget, bro. Like I could not afford United States Captain Born and Bred Condro. So like I have over 20 females, okay? They're all imports. And that's because that's how I came in it. I'm not ashamed whatsoever. I got really lucky with this, but at the end of the day, you got to understand that your freezer might be filled with some shit. You know what I mean? And you have to be okay with it. And like I said, I'm glad I surrounded myself with people who are accustomed to death and accustomed to shit happening, because their stories and telling me, listen, this happens to everybody. You need to shut the fuck up. And that's the truth. Like if you're gonna fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can't be mad at Joe. Like
I ain't mad at Joe. No, hell no.
Like
We're good. Joe's still my boy.
Joe treats you good. Like even though he might be a hot mess, he still treats you good. Do you ever remember seeing the Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston reality show, and like how they was crazy, but the kids, they got whatever they want. Like, you know, to like everybody else, you just like, man, what the fuck is this? But like to the kids, they just like, this is wonderful. Like, and you was one of those kids. You was Bobby 100%. And Whitney's kids. And you had a good time while it lasted.
I was there, yeah, like literally, man. This sounds weird, but literally, Joe was like my Bobby dad, or something. Like I'm just like
Joe was Bobby Brown.
Joe's Bobby. He's in there with mom, just hitting the pizzo, giving me snakes, and I'm just like, yeah, you know what I mean. But I mean, as dark as that sound, that's what it was. I was just somebody just really happy, and I don't want to say taking advantage, because I paid the guy money. But he just always took care of me. And like I said, man, I'll whip out a fucking blue snake that I've gotten 10K offers on. And I'm like, I'm good. I spent $700 on snakes in 2017. You know what I mean? Like, and that was a snake that he just sent me like on a whim. And I'm like, what? So that's why I'm happy I came in the game the way I came. And also, going in the way you come in will just make you understand what your plate is full of, okay? Because no matter what, if you want to talk about life or death type shit that happens when breeding chondros or breeding anything, it's chondros. Chondros teaches you that life lesson. Like, did you ever hear that James Opdale story about the male fucking getting his dick ripped out from the female? Did you ever hear that one?
Yeah, I heard that. I saw that episode.
What the fuck, bro? And we're talking like a $15,000 male here, like a prize breeder male for him that literally got his hemipeds ripped out because the female decided to snap. Like, I mean, I don't think I have any females like that personally. I hope I don't, but
I got one. I don't listen. I watch snake mating through the camera. I don't go in there and mess with them, because if you go in there and look at them, they start jerking and shit. You wouldn't want it. You wouldn't want somebody. You wouldn't want your mom or your dad to come in the room, you know, while you trying to make a baby. So I watch them through the camera. I give them that little bit of privacy. Plus, you know, every time somebody said, you know, I just feed them while they're in a cage together. I don't do that. I personally refuse to do it. And I separate mine. Like, I have shorter periods for breeding anyway. It's 4 days on and 3 days. It's 4 days on, 3 days off. Because I don't believe in just keeping them in there forever together, because they need to eat and they need to recharge. And you know, They need to just live life, but like I'm not gonna go in there and mess with them when they doing something, man. That's the joy of technology. So you should use it.
I think this is what I have to say about that, because I also agree. I feel like if you keep something in the same area, like a confined place where this other snake knows that it's not by itself. Like, think about how many motherfuckers just need to be alone, right? And I feel like right. And I feel like especially after, you know, you're done, you know, like I just want to leave, you know what I mean? And so I feel like if you have that mentality where you want to keep them together until there's an ovulation, well, at least consider having like a split or something to divide them, because there has to be a time and place where they don't notice another being or another fucking like they need that privacy, like as we all do. Like how many of us get to go shit with the door closed? I mean, I know you have kids, so maybe not all the time, but I'm just saying, like,
no.
Majority of us humans could shut the door and be in a private setting, and that kind of like resets things. So I agree with you, bro. I'm not with I'm just gonna let them rock. Now I feel like if there's no action going on, if there's nothing happening, give them that break. Like, switch it up. You know what I mean? Or wait a little bit. I agree on you on that.
Well, you know, on the flip side of that, I experienced something really weird yesterday. I took my male Biak out because he's going in the shed, and he's a little bit closer to the garage door. So I was just like, well, you know, it wouldn't hurt to soak him. And I had him in there to soak, and I took the sarong female that he bred with, and I put her on the back of the truck as well, but she was on a perch. And she just started getting really crazy. Like, she was trying to open the tub that he was in while he was soaking. And I guess that she sensed some sense of anxiety. I'm just guessing, I could be wrong, that she didn't have him. And she spent, you know, a good 45 minutes sitting really odd, not looking like herself. And I think that these things do have some type of bond to each other, because they spend so much time together in some cases where they do really get to know each other. And I think that she misses him, which I don't know how anybody misses Doom. I hate Doom most of the time, but she misses him. I mean, that's her psycho baby daddy. So, you know, it works for them.
But really, maybe she just wants to get digged down.
Yeah, she probably want to get spaded out.
I mean, bro, like you're like the Antoine Hood of the Condro game. You know who Antoine Hood is? Have you ever heard of Antoine?
Yeah, I
Hood?
know who he is.
That's my dog, man. And I feel like if I'm talking to Antoine to like worked with Condros right now, only he makes me laugh like this. But what's your Condro count? Let's talk about how many Condros you have right now in your collection.
I got 6 adults, 19 babies from one clutch, and a remaining 9 from the other clutch.
Say that one more time. So 6 adults.
So 6 plus 9, that's 25.
What's the 9? You said 9 what? 9 babies?
Yeah.
And that's from the first clutch.
That's from the first clutch. I still have 9 of those babies left, and I got 19 from the most recent clutch.
19?
Yeah. I had 26 eggs, man. And that's what I was trying to say about the second incubation, because first it was too dry, and then it was too humid, and then water got on some of them. Because
it could get tricky when it comes to incubating that many eggs. So did you do everything all together in one box, or did you split them up?
Yeah, I bought a bigger box, and the box just didn't work right. And shout out to Chuck from Chill Chondros, because he gave me another idea for a box, and I think I'm gonna use his idea for the box.
He just called you Booker T.
Yo, Chuck, I'm gonna beat you up, bro.
That's a hard name. I know a lot of weird names. I think Booker T's a pretty good name out there. I mean, shout out to Chuck.
Hey man, you know, I've been called worse. I remember I had a coach who used to call me Speed Bump. But also Alex Warren's box is a pretty good box. So, you know, I've been looking around at boxes, and you're
talking about sim container.
Yeah, so the sim container.
Bro,
so I got 4 small sim containers, man.
No, you need the XL. You need the XL. You got to go XL, bro.
Hey man, I tried to get in contact with the guy on multiple occasions.
I
I
got
know
you.
Bill. I know Bill has tried to get in contact with him too, and he just don't like me and Bill.
I got you, bro. I'll call John tomorrow and I'll see what I can do about that. I'll get you some XLs. Don't trip.
All right,
Because
but
he's supposed to be sending me a good amount and I'm supposed to be doing some giveaways here and there. But I want to take care of my people too, because you ain't the only homie who's looking and needs XLs. First and foremost, these Condro eggs need to go the distance. And sim containers are the best thing for your Condro eggs. I'm telling you right now, hands down, sim containers are where it's at.
well, so my sim containers, I had 4 small. I actually got 5 small ones. They worked well. They just got way too humid, so I would have to go and wipe the lids on them,
Yeah, every day.
every couple days. But I needed one, and me and Bill talked about it. Bill needs one bad. But when I was talking to Chuck, me and Chuck, we talked about building these tubs and like how to build them better because even if he had the tubs readily available, because I don't know what the issue is, we're all going through this thing right now of shipping delays and materials not being available because we're still dealing with the effects of the pandemic. So we got to DIY a lot of stuff, and we got to figure out different ways to do things
Right.
sometimes. So even if I don't get the sim tub,
Hey, Travis,
the fall.
you're gonna get one. Relax. Why are you so
Hey man, I ain't got one since. So
I
I
got you,
can't
bro.
bank on that. I appreciate it, but there's other things that we're all dealing with, because of supply shortages,
Right.
that we got to work through. And I've seen some amazing stuff, and people have told me some amazing stuff that they've done, and that's one thing I like about the Condro community because there's not a lot of stuff made for us specifically, so we have to make things work for us.
So let's talk about the scenario right now. Let's say Travis gets a clutch on the ground, and let's say Travis has a sim container XL. What would be the move? Let's talk about the steps you would take right now from all the experiences that you've had if you were to go into prepping a new clutch. I'm talking about incubator temperatures. What would you put for substrate inside the sim container? What's the rundown? Let's hear it from you.
So my substrate for the sim containers is part vermiculite and part what's the other stuff? It's part vermiculite and the other part is I forgot what it is. I gotta go look at the bag.
You're talking about perlite?
It's perlite and vermiculite. So half perlite, half vermiculite, and I soak it, and I get about 3/4 of an inch layer of it, get it heavily soaked. Um, But I make sure like once I see in the camera and see eggs coming out, I'm cleaning that tub really good. And I'll put that tub into the incubator so it's already preheated. So once I go in and I got to fight with the female to get her eggs, I got a heated tub I can already put the eggs in. So my cook is 87.5. Once we get about 2 weeks out, we'll start lowering in that until we get to be about 86.8. Um, and the first time my clutch, they didn't hatch till day 52. And then the second clutch, I wasn't expecting them to hatch till at least day 50. And day 49, I was going out past Seguin, Texas for a hog hunt. And I was prepping because I was going to zero my rifle again. And I came in here and I started seeing a little yellow head pop out. And I was like, fuck. So that was day 48. So they came 2 days early. So at that point in time,
86.5, right?
87.5
Oh, got it. Okay.
until we get it down to 86.8. Um,
Okay,
and then,
I'm so sorry. One more time. So the eggs first hit the incubator at 87.5, right?
yeah,
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
87.5 last 2 weeks. I'm gonna work it down, a tenth of a degree down every couple of days or so until I get it to 86.8. Then I switch them over to a different tub that has it has some perches in it, and I put water at the bottom so it's still humid. The eggs
Right.
aren't drying out. And it's got a little egg crate in it, so
Right.
they'll hatch on that. And once they come out and they start rocking and rolling, give them as long as they need in there, probably about a week or so. Then I transition them over into the rack.
Do you wait for their first shed, or do you let them like you put them away before their first shed? What's your take on that?
So I put them away before their first shed is because seeing them all in there at the same time. The first time I was wrong. I wouldn't necessarily say I was wrong, but nothing happened. The second time I had one just went crazy and started biting a bunch of them. So I think that at some point in time you might have to take them. You might have to separate them. Because I saw him on the bottom and he was just attacking him. I was like, what the hell is this shit? But yeah.
I mean, to be honest, if I saw Neo striking, I'd be happy.
Yeah. I think he did
also,
well.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's number 10. Now that's the one that has been eating. So I mean, he's nuts, but he eats.
Right. Now, I mean, temperature fluctuation, right? I don't think that's going to make or break. And obviously there's degrees that matter, right? But understand there's a lot of people who have incubators in certain ambient positions in their rooms that have fluctuation. So at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck how sealed your incubator is. There's going to be some sort of fluctuation. I feel like so many people out there are so like determined to keep something the same number throughout the whole period that like that's going to determine if the clutch goes the distance or not. Now, there's a lot of factors you need to consider, right? Like one of them, like if you see a bunch of droplets in water, well, then you need to air that motherfucker out because it might be getting the right humidity, but as soon as that fucking egg gets any bit of moisture on it, it's over. You know what I mean? Yeah. From what I can tell, these Condro eggs cannot get wet.
No,
unless it's like what the last day or so of it pipping. But still, you still don't want them to get wet. You know what I mean?
I had one to get wet the last 3 or 4 days before they hatched.
I mean, it's not the end. I mean, at that point, they're so developed, it's not going to matter. But we're talking like
it was still ruined. That egg was ruined.
Oh, the egg was already fucked. Okay.
Yeah, it was messed up.
But I mean, what would you say the biggest factor is of success when hatching Chondro eggs? I mean, obviously there's a lot of factors, but what would you see the number one is? Is it the temperature, humidity? What's the biggest factor going into it, you would think?
I think that, I've seen people keep them, within like 2 degrees. There's a range of 2 degrees, but I think the biggest factor is keeping them hydrated enough. So keeping the humidity high enough without getting them wet. And that's right. The balancing act of it all. Because, I had at the beginning of the second cook, the temp and the humidity was right. Humidity was at 99%, but I didn't fully drench the substrate. And those eggs started drying out.
Right.
So I had to put them in a smaller container. Thanks to Matt Morris. He gave me that idea, man. That's an OG. You got to talk to if you can.
I do. I talked to Matt. I talked to Tim. Like, trust me, bro. Yeah. I'm in their pockets. Trust me. I got
such a nice dude, man.
I got Christian Stu. You know what I mean, bro? Listen, if you want to talk about the most legendary Chondro breeders to be coming to any podcasts, it's going to be this one. This year, I'm bringing some of the biggest names anyone's ever heard, ever. And I'm talking like Bill Stiegel. I'm calling you out, buddy. I'm shitting on you and Buddy's show this year. Nobody Chondro breeder, and you're a good example of this. But I'm talking around all around the board in 2000. And no disrespect to the Chondro bar, no disrespect. But no disrespect to anyone out there trying to bring Chondro breeders, but ain't nobody going to see the trap this year when it comes to bringing Chondro breeders. And you just contributed to that, Travis, so I hope you're ready.
Well, the Chondro bar room is different because I think that the biggest breeder we got slated is supposed to come on the 28th, and I'm not going to tell you who. But you got names. Here's the thing, though. You guys don't play. You guys get fucking names on there. I've seen it. We do. Okay. We do, but the Chondro bar room is essentially for people intermediate. Like, we're not experts at all by any sense of the word, breeder. So when we bring people on, we try to learn from them.
Yeah. I mean, so do I. But listen, bro, I suck at breeding Chondros.
You know what it is, MJ, man? I think that the thing with breeding Chondros is like Pat said. Yeah. You got a whole lot of things that can go wrong. From the development of the egg. A lot. I think that you got a wife right now who's pregnant. You got to take care of that woman when she's pregnant, man. you gotta make sure she's doing good. And a lot of times I don't think that people are doing the mama preparation. They're not doing the extra water. They're not doing the meals right. And I think that in a lot of cases we could have healthier eggs, because I've seen all my eggs come out and I was just like, I think all my eggs look really good compared to a lot of eggs I've seen come out. And I'm not gonna say I'm the biggest factor, but I think I treated my mamas really good.
And it's funny, man, because I'm not gonna lie, I've had some close snake homies come out to me and not only ask me how's your wife doing with the pregnancy, but making sure that I'm making her life easy, because we all know MJ, I'm not, it ain't easy sometimes, being around me. But I gotta tell you how
I'm an ass clown too, man. I do some stupid shit.
I gotta tell you, I never said I was an ass clown, bro. What the fuck? That was not I I'm just kidding. But listen, what I'm trying to say is, like, I am taking extra steps to make sure I'm not that extra MJ for my wife right now. Like if you don't catch me in this room, if you don't catch me on a podcast, I'm sweeping or doing dishes with my head down. And I'm just asking, are you hungry? Are you good? Let me know what you need, and I'm here. And I think those are the extra steps any female going through a pregnancy needs. And this water type thing that we're talking about is kind of like, give them extra stuff to making sure that they're okay. Like, I am going, bro, if it's the best behavior I've ever been in my life is right now. And I got to tell you, because I don't want to stress my wife out, bro. Like, I already know I'm a stressful person, but not right now. Right now I could wait. I could just, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much more importance than me. And that's just me. Like I said, I grew up a selfish person, spoiled fucking kid, the golden child, all this shit, right? But I listen, I love the animals because it's not about me, bro. Like if I feel good, what about my animals? I don't sleep good unless they're good. And this is the first thing in my life that came into my life that made me realize that it's not about me, it's about them. And so this is like, I feel like I'm made for this shit. Like, the fact that I have a kid on the way. Like, here's one thing, man. I feel like a lot of kids are brought into this earth. First and foremost, none of us asked to be here, but some of us are brought here in a really fucked up situation. And I'm talking about, like, think about how many moms out there who have a kid that they're developing and they're getting cheated on, they're getting beat, they're getting like they're getting all this trauma put into them while they're developing this child. Well, what the fuck do you think happens to that child when it's born? That's exactly like you can't get, it's like, I understand, like, there is a level of owning up to, like, if you're a fucking pedophile or rapist, like, there's no excuse for that. But a child, like, I feel like a child is so vulnerable and so, like I talked about this yesterday. Like, you ever remember having that friend that you felt so bad for, that you always wanted him with you? I remember legitimately meeting friends that made me realize how awesome my parents were. And it made me realize, like, dude, some of these motherfuckers aren't as lucky as I am. And it made me feel so bad. Like, it just made me feel so bad. But what can you do? So I don't know. All I got to say is, I don't want to bring my, I'm in a position that even before my wife getting pregnant, like, these animals taught me it's not about you, dickhead. Like no matter how you feel, like, if you have something that's a living being and it's not asking to be here, hello, none of these fucking reptiles signed up for this shit. You know what I mean? No. But they're here. So I got to do by my best being by these animals. And it kind of goes the same with having a child. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, with, human children and snake children, like, like, until you have a kid, you don't realize that, like, each kid is going to be different. But, having, baby chondros, each baby chondro is different. So it's, going into taking care of baby chondros is, it's expected. Some are going to want to get teeth fed one way. Others are going to want to get teeth fed one way. They're going to like different sensing. You're going to have to work really hard to get these things established. Like, some like, chick down, others like crushed up frog. It's just different for each one. Some people I've heard of, they use chicken broth. It's just difficult to deal with having human children and chondro babies at the same time, when everybody wants something different. I got 2 kids. One eats meat, the other one doesn't eat meat, and vice versa. Like they just kind of eat off each other's plate. It's kind of weird, but like that's that's just kids for you, man. And you gotta factor in the mom, like they're like moms, like human mothers. They go through a lot when they have a baby. The Chondro mamas, you can see it. You can physically see it in both of them. They're depleted.
Especially after they lay, right? Like when they lay, like, dude, they look
hollow.
They look like a deflated balloon. Like it's like, bro, like, dude, like you see, like their skin, they look so dehydrated. Like, oh man, especially Mimi, I've gotten 2 clutches from Mimi, and every time she laid, I thought she wasn't gonna make it, and I'm like, dude, are you good? But you just got to be there for him, man. Like this is what it comes down to.
Yeah, man. I think that, doubling up on what you can as far as supplementation and the extra water is important. And, spraying them doesn't necessarily help all the time because you don't really want them to get fungal infections. But you got to do what you can to help them out. And they're going to pass those babies, and you need them to pass them all, because even if they pass, let's say they got 20 eggs in them and they pass 17 of those eggs, those 3 remaining eggs in them can kill them.
Like, this is why everyone needs the Condro game in their life, because if you're in the Condro game, you're going to need help. I am that selfish asshole who thinks I could do everything on my own, right? And if you're that person, you're going to come into this game realizing, well, guess what, asshole? You can't do it on your own, because you're going to need that shoulder to lean on. You're going to need that experience to share, to make you realize that you're okay. Like, even though this is your 3rd fucking year failing at this Condro shit, you're not the only one. And also, there's a lot of things that come into factors. So it's like I'm talking to myself right now. It's weird. But at the end of the day, people have purposes in life. My biggest purpose is in how I could do better. Because, dude, my real passion, honest to God, Travis, my real passion are these fucking reptiles. Like, I'm obsessed, bro. Like, especially because I know what I have. Like, I got some Rico Wilder shit that nobody had, like historical animals that are now in my possession. So I just have stuff that made me even become more obsessed. But all we can do is what we can see and what we can take care of. So
yeah,
I just feel like if you're not an attention to detail person, like, okay, let's put this in a nice way. If you're a busy person, if you're a real busy person, too busy to attend daily water changes if needed, then you shouldn't keep these animals. Okay, plain and simple.
I tried to tell somebody else this, and I was just like, once you have Chondro babies, like, don't be surprised if you're up at 2 a.m. after you got your wife and kids to sleep, and you're out there feeding babies with a headlamp on. Like, because that's what it's going to take to get them to eat. Sometimes you got to wake up at 6 on a Saturday, make sure they can see the sun, and then try to feed some of them, because that's what they like. You're going to have to do a bunch of things to get it to work. And if you don't want to do a bunch of things to get it to work, breeding Chondros isn't going to work.
Yeah, go collect rocks. Like, there's a lot of other, or be a ball python breeder. And all due respect, like, you could, but this is the beauty of things. But it's also something not to just settle on. Like, if you just want the easy way to breed a cool animal and not have to, like, be Mr. Everyday, pay attention, then go a ball python. I would say a ball python, you can pay attention every fucking 5-7 days if you want. I don't. I pay attention a lot more than that. But if you want, go ahead. That's a cool, I guess, right? But if you take more pride, like, for instance, like plant people, right? Like, people don't understand how hard it is to keep plants alive. Like
really hard.
Like, for real, it's like there's motherfuckers out there. Right. And you would think, like, oh, a plant? No, motherfucker. Yeah, a plant, because a plant is an everyday need, right? At some sort, like, plants need emotional connection. Can you believe that? I'm not even joking. You got to talk to your plants, motherfucker. I ain't even fucking joking. And you got to talk to your snakes. I learned this from Austin, bro. Austin, man, if there's one Canadian I had enough money to recruit and bring on my team and just bring him over here, because I don't even like the situation he's in, but he's smart. He knows what he's doing, I guess. But Austin from Mutation Creation, I want, bro. I want to bring this, because this guy he's so dialed in and he just knows his shit. And then Socrates, we're talking about my boy Socrates. Socrates,
man.
He's the most.
I appreciate Socrates. He helped me out too, man.
You'll never. I'm telling you this right now, and I don't care who takes offense to this. NEOG, Nobody is as dialed in as Socrates. I don't give a fuck who you are. Nobody is on Socrates' level out there. He is, and I'm talking in life in general, like his spirit, where he's going, his motivation. Like this guy, mark my words, he's going to be like a world leader. Like I'm telling you right now, this guy is fucking nuts. He's a
You campaigning for him?
He's
I think that to
superhero.
me, I think that like Socrates and Pat are right here.
Nah, bro, he shits on
from
Pat.
a Chondro,
I love
from a
Pat.
Chondro perspective.
Pat, okay. If you want to talk about body texture wise, yeah, you're right. Because we all know Patrick takes care of his body as much as he takes care of his Chondro knowledge. It's the
I'm
same.
talking about Chondros.
No,
I'm not talking about how they look in their Speedos, man.
No. I'm talking about Speedos.
All right, you talking about Speedos. I'm talking about Chondros.
No. What I'm talking about, okay, because Pat, here's the thing. You're right, because Patrick is so Patrick think a lot of people who fuck with Patrick think Patrick only fucks with one or the other. That's not the case. Patrick is so diverse. Venomous, Chondros, emeralds, the list goes on. So I will say on a more humble scale, you're correct. Patrick and Sock are neck and neck, but Sock is after for fucking world domination. Like, Patrick won't even come to San Diego. Okay. Let's just say that, because I love him to death, but Patrick is so in his Patrick zone. Like he's like, dude, the motherfucker did prison time. Like he's happy to be where he's at. Socrates is on a global world inspirational, and not that Patrick isn't, but we're talking more than snakes here. Okay, it's what I'm trying to say, right? And I don't even know where we're originally going with this. I'm so sorry. Now I feel like we're going off the deep end. But if I were that way, if I were to go, what I'm talking about, which I don't want to talk about, I would sleep with Socrates over Patrick. I'm sorry.
I'm not even gonna. You know what? That last statement, I'm putting that right in the little box that I got with your Joe Swatowski interview. We just gonna put it in the little box, and we gonna put it in the back room. And when the house burns down, we're not gonna ask no questions about where this box went when the house burnt down. But to be honest, man, I've had a conversation with Socrates that was really helpful. Pat walked me all the way through both clutches. I would never in a million years say, I think that I could have did anything remotely with these clutches without Pat. And anytime I came up with a question, Pat answered the question. And Pat also gives you options, man. I like that about Pat.
Oh, here's
options.
Pat will also tell you, like, listen, you're asking me for info, and I'm not the guy who is saying I'm the best at this. Like, I remember... So I found out this about Patrick recently on my last clutch. Patrick he's not the most confident when it comes to establishing neos, because he's gone through so many different type of ringers. And what I'm saying is, like, even Patrick will tell you, this is my advice, but even I'm learning still. Like, even I don't fucking know why your goddamn neo prolapsed after goddamn 30 meals. I don't know. Like, could it be this? Could it be that? You know what I mean?
I got a theory about the prolapsing of neos.
Let's talk about. Okay, hold on. First and foremost, and this is going to be kind of the wrap up topic before we get into some hot seat questions, because this topic could go very long. I'm not going to lie, because the title of this episode here is UVB lighting important for baby green tree pythons? And this is relating to, like I said, I had a Condro that died and prolapsed after 7 months of shitting great, eating great, no problems. Then 7 months later, you do this to me? Is it the lack of UVB? Is it the lack of calcium? Let's talk about that, Travis.
I don't think, we could talk about UVB and calcium, but this is just my opinion. And this is just from a guy who's established one clutch and trying to establish the next.
Right.
I think that the problem is we keep them on pinkies too long. And I think that also part of the problem is when they don't want to eat, we give them pinky heads. So once you start giving them, if you got a neo that doesn't want to eat and you give them a mouse leg, the poop looks completely different than if you're giving them pinky heads. And once they graduate to eating pinkies, like once they eat pinkies, you switch them over to fuzzies. And if you want to give them a pinky, instead give them a rat pinky. I know some people aren't going to agree with this, but I've got Neos that have gone, they're 9 months old. Like I haven't had a single prolapse, but I can see that the poop is very different and watery when they've been getting pinkies. So
Right.
I don't know
Well,
exactly why they have prolapses.
A pinky is just a fucking a skin full of blood. It's like a balloon full of blood. There ain't no bones in a pinky.
Yeah, you gotta alternate. Like if you're gonna give them a rat pinky, you gotta also give them a mouse fuzzy. So rat pinky, mouse fuzzy, and then once they get bigger, you can give them a rat fuzzy and like possibly a hopper if you want to, but you can't keep them on mouse
fuzzy,
pinkies.
Hold on, slow down, because we all know how small these Neos are out the eggs. Okay, a rat pinky is quite. I mean, at what point can you feed a rat pinky to a smaller Neo though? That's what I'm trying to get at, because we're talking about something.
About 3 months after his, no, not even 3 months after, probably about maybe 3 months after it starts eating pinkies, but not really that long.
But you use mice pinks for the first couple meals.
Yeah, until I use mouse pinkies for the first couple of meals. After they get 3 mouse pinkies, then I give them a fuzzy.
Okay. I guess I don't know. I feel like
you want to see one? You want to see one that's been eating good?
No, here's the thing. I got one that's been eating good, but I'm just saying for the most part, these chondros come out so fucking tiny. You know what I mean? So maybe we're underestimating what they could handle.
I think you have to, like, if you're gonna give them something, you can't continue to give them a water sack that they struggle to shit out, because you can see it. It's just all watery. So you gotta think that they're trying to squeeze this water off. Like it's the same thing as if you have diarrhea. You have diarrhea too many times, you're gonna mess up your anus. So you gotta think about the same thing with the baby Neos, man. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't think they should be on pinkies as long as people are keeping them on pinkies.
But what about this? What if you are, because a lot of people do chick down, right?
Yeah.
Fur or feathers, from what I know, have some sort of effect with the digestive, right? Is that something you could maybe consider?
Yeah, but I don't think that feathers is a substitute for a completely covered animal in fur and bone.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, there are just there's a boost of something that I feel like is missing. And I think the missing piece is giving it something other than just a fucking sack of blood. Like a sack of blood ain't gonna do something for so long. You know what I mean?
Yes. So I transitioned from pinkies after, even some that didn't even eat pinkies on their own. Like I gave them fuzzies and then they started eating. Once I offered them fuzzies, that's when they decided to start turning on. And then once they had been on fuzzies for a little bit, then I gave them rat pinkies, because rat pinkies had a little bit more fat on them. But over the course of time, it's still it's the poop isn't as solid, but it's way more solid than mouse pinkies. And then once they move on to fuzzies, then eventually you can give them a hopper. Like I got 9-month-olds that are eating rat fuzzies and hoppers.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that, like I said, the last Neo that I was so proud about, and I was like, well, fuck it. It got to the point where this Neo was so well established compared to the other ones that I was establishing, where I thought, this one ain't gonna fucking crash. You know what I mean? And I was so confident about it. But one thing I was not happy about was seeing the way it was shitting. And it was always a wet, smeared shit. And I was like,
yeah. Hold on a second. I think my headphones were out.
Hey, people are really tweaking out over if I would sleep with Soccer Patrick. You there? You there? Can you hear me? Oh my God, Booker T, where you at? Can't hear MJ. You can't hear me. What? Check. Oh, you can't. No, yeah, you can. You can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you now.
I guess I said his audio's out, but now you can hear me. You can hear me right now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I didn't know if the headphones had cut out, so I had another pair on standby.
All right. Anyways, so I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm attention to detail as any Chondro keeper or emerald keeper should be. You should pay attention to certain things that maybe don't, that don't add up. And I gotta say, this snake, but my glorious Neo that ended up prolapsing after 7 months, never gave me a solid shit. And that was always a key, you know.
I think it's a big thing, man. I don't think that you're just gonna get the right bowel movement from just giving them pinkies, man. You got to give them something with bone on it. And I think that Pat was right about not giving them pinky heads and just giving them mouse legs.
Yeah. I mean, I just I don't know, man, because like I said, there's so many, like for instance, you go through so many stages just to get to the point where your Chondro takes a meal, right? And then you finally get happy that your Chondro takes a meal. And did I ever tell you the story on how I got fucking shitted on within my own little OG homie of Chondro homie groups that I have? And what I mean by that, Travis, is I was so happy when the 3 remaining Neos that made it out the egg, they all ate for me, like all back to back to back. And I was like, and I went to my Chondro homies and I was like, bro, they all ate. I'm good.
They regress.
No, hold on. So you have Bill Stiegel in that group he's like, hell yeah, MJ, way to go. That's what I'm talking about. Gary Shavino in that group was like, all right, bud, congratulations. And then what do you think Marshall Mendez said?
He told you do it again.
No, he said, cool, prolapse is next. And bro, he wasn't kidding. Even after like I said, it all started. Okay, first and foremost, the first Neo that died on me never shed. It never had its first shed. So literally it went out suffocating. It was sad. It was so sad. It went out like it always ate, but it went out, it never shed. Like it never fucking shed. Am I good? Hold on. Anyways, my audio is not out. Can you guys hear me? You can hear me, right? I just want to make sure you guys can hear me.
I can hear you.
All right. So anyways, it never shed. So it literally got to the point, bro, where I walked in and I saw this thing fucking gasping for air, and it was so sad. And then the second one prolapsed. And after it was eating just perfectly fine, it prolapsed. And then the final one that I thought that wasn't going to roll on me, the one I thought that was going to make it, ended up prolapsing, bro.
Man, I think that I made the decision just virtually just seeing the poop, man. I saw too much watery poop.
Poop matters, bro. I think the poop matters. I really think that poop matters because I've had snakes I've taken in from sock that were still on pinks and they were shitting solid. They were shitting good. So it just had, I mean, were these snakes even meant to make it is what I got to say. We're
not all of them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, 11, I did cut early, right? I cut on day 52, which I should have never done. I treated my last ball python, I treated my last Condro clutch like a fucking ball python clutch. Okay. I thought I could cut on a certain day, and I knew better. I'm telling you right now, I knew better, and I did it anyways because I was impatient and I thought I could fucking pull it off. And no, you don't.
Come on, MJ.
I know. I'm telling you, and for anyone out there, don't be me. Don't be me. Anyways, hey, this.
Well, yeah, this has been a good episode, man. I enjoyed.
No. What are you gonna say? No. I want you to. What were you gonna say?
Well, just the way that I see it is, there's so many things that you just learn from the babies by watching them. And if you're just cleaning tubs and not understanding what the poop looks like, you're not going to know. But I think that everybody has their own idea of what they want to do. So I don't knock it. And I think that like establishing Neos, you got to have a lot of intuition and you got to have mentors. You got to take that people are going to tell you you're not making good decisions. And you got to show them things and be like, here, this is what I did. And you got to be able to accept the real criticism. Like, I got a Neo that died because it was a piece of tape that was on a tub. Because this is my fault. I was too lazy to just switch the tub out and put new holders on it. So I taped up a portion. Well, I guess that I didn't push the tape down well enough, and the snake's face got attached to it, and it ripped half the face off of the Neo wall.
Oh my God.
I gotta live with that. Like, that's my fault. Like, I gotta live with that. In the first clutch, I was trying to give a Neo a fuzzy, because it already had the fuzzy, and I was just like, well, it took it and like it tried to swallow it halfway. So I was just like, maybe I can just go ahead and just, try to cis feed it the fuzzy. Hell no. Push that thing through the side of his neck and lost the Neo. So we make bad decisions only to not make them, but then later on we get different scenarios and then we still don't know what the fuck we're doing. So we're just constantly learning, and you just got to be able to accept that you don't know everything. You need to talk to other people too. I think that this went out.
We're here. We good.
Okay. Yeah, but you just got to accept mentorship. You got to accept that. Don't try things. Just ask somebody first and then try it. And if you feel like you don't have the time, then try it and, just deal with, accept the responsibility for whatever you did.
I just think people need to be very wary and careful with who they decide to take information from too, because you have so many different people who do things differently, demographic wise, just experience wise. So I feel like if you ask a million people, you're going to get a million different ways. So you can't just fucking put that. You can't do that to yourself, Bobby Boucher. Like, you just can't do that. You need to find that one person you connect with, right? That one person that you see, or maybe a couple people. And like I said, my couple people I bounce back and forth with in the Condro game is Patrick and Socrates. They do things differently, but if I'm confused, it's either Patrick or Socrates. And I keep myself simple like that. That's how I work.
I had a few people. I had Pat, I had Matt Morris, I had James Smith, and I had Ken Deal.
Right.
And also I had those people, because different questions, you might not get an answer from one person at a certain time when you might need an answer. But I had people that really helped me out, and Thaddeus saw too. So he helped me out a few times.
And at the end of the day, man, when you're a grown ass adult, you know what's helping you, what's not. Like, hello,
yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, who's blowing smoke up your ass, who's actually giving you facts from experiences, okay? And that's when you need to determine, am I going to this person because I like him as like a friend because we did a sticker swap or something, or am I I'm being for reals, motherfuckers, like they back each other up that much because of that circumstance. That doesn't make sense. That don't make sense to me. What?
I know. It happens a lot. And that's why, you got to ask yourself, like, who do I think is going to be able to coach me across the finish line? That's a big thing.
Who wants me to win? How about that? Like, you know what I mean? And people who are winning, for the most part, from what I know, want other people to win, because especially in the Condro game, like, it's not fun being the only one successful at something like this sick, because you want to see this spread across the board. And that's why I love people like Patrick and Sock, because I mean, as much as they got their own shit going on, they love it when you have success. And you need to be a part of a mentorship program who wants you to be successful, because there are Facebook groups out there that don't want you to be successful. Okay. Like I'm no individual names. I'm just saying.
Stop. There's some other shit brewing with that. Stop. Don't say anything.
Bro, when it comes to
stop.
When it comes to my post being taken down, that's not cool.
Hey, I understand what you're saying, but
are you saying,
sometimes
are you a Saltzman fan? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm telling you is there's some stuff going on with that, and you don't want to attach your name to that shit right now.
What happened? What is it dark? What's going on? I'm confused.
It ain't good, so just leave it alone. I would leave it alone.
Whoa! What's going on? What's that? Is there some like dark shit happening within that? I don't know. So you're saying just leave that be.
Just leave that be. Just leave that be.
I don't know. I kind of want to go ask now.
You don't. I promise you, I'm don't.
I'm going to for sure. 110%. God bless. Wow. Okay. All right, listen up. Check this out. I got a wrap-up question before we get into some hot seat questions.
Let's go.
Travis, at the end of the day, you are an influencer, man. And what I mean by that, being authentic in a day and age like today, it rubs off on the right kind of people that influences them to be authentic. So what I'm saying is us, that's what we have in common. We're authentic. We could be ourselves and people are attached to that, right? But let's say I had no connection into the snake game. Okay. Let's say I had, but you and I are boys and I came over to your house and you're like, all right, MJ, this is what I do. This is what I got going on. And I'm floored. I want to get in it. How would you guide somebody like me with no experience whatsoever? But let's say, I love the reptiles. Like, let's just say there's no question about how you would take care of it, but I got no little bit of clout in the Condro game. How would you guide me into the Condro game in 2023?
First thing I would tell you is to pick the animal that you like. First of all, pick the animal that you really like. But don't be surprised if your first attempt at it doesn't go well. Then I would tell you, you're going to need the right equipment. You can't go cheap. You need a good thermostat. You need good heating. You need good substrate. You need good purchase. Now, whether you're going to put that in an enclosure, a focus cube habitat, or a tub, you need to have your setup running and you need it to be heated. And I would tell you, whatever rodents you're gonna buy, don't buy them from Petco. You need to get them from a local person who's taking good care of their rodents, or you can order them from Cold Blooded Cafe or Lane Labs. But you need to get a good base of that. Make sure you're not sharing. Make sure that you're not sharing tongs and things. Get the animal Nido tested. If you think you need to get it tested for something else, get it tested. Know where your vet is. Have a good vet and talk to them. Get the thing properly sexed. And just monitor it. Monitor everything for a while to see what your baseline is supposed to look like for this specific animal. And enjoy it. Enjoy it the best way you can, because that's what it's all about. And don't hesitate to reach out to people. If you feel stupid about asking a question, and send them a private message. If you think that you want to ask me the question, people ask me questions all the time. Not necessarily saying that I know the answer. I can point you to somebody, but ask questions. And don't get upset when people give you constructive criticism. You got to be a big boy about this. Or a big girl too. Right.
But it's funny. I feel like the boys make more of a big issue than the girls sometimes, because at the end of the day, I feel like girls handle criticism because they expect. If you're not saying that the Chondro game is a guy's world, but at the end of the day, they're expecting some kind of toughness to come into this. And guys,
No, it's a bunch of nerds. Have you ever seen kids that always get A's on their test and then they get a B or a C and they just lose their shit?
Yeah,
that's like half of the Condro community.
But let's think about anyone who's made a bitchy ass fucking stupid ass of themselves in the Condro community on Facebook. It's always a dude. Okay,
it is.
It is always a dude, because girls understand that this is more likely going to come to them with wanting advice. And mind you, I think we need more girls in almost everything in this world. We need more Chondro breeders when it comes to females. But what I'm saying is the ones who are in this are tough as fuck. But the guys, man, there's some pussy ass, bitch ass motherfuckers who just can't handle the bit type of criticism, because low key, you do have a fucking heat bulb. You have a fucking bulb over that snake that is this close from it. We're more upset that snake's going to get cooked over off what you're doing. So just don't get offended. And it's okay. Here's the thing. I think people need to be okay with fucking up. Fuck up.
Yeah.
Fuck ups mean you're going to get to the next step. So the more you fuck up, the better it is for you. Just don't be that historical fuck upper. Does that make sense? Like, don't fuck up over the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, you know?
Yeah, I think that with a lot of people, you got to make people feel comfortable. Like I got young guys that I work with, and they don't want to tell their mid-level supervisor or whoever that they want to learn something because they don't want to be perceived as dumb and not being able to do their job. So I always tell them, man, you can come sit with me and I'll show you how to do this, and I won't tell you, boss. There's no spreadsheet I'm gonna put this in. I know Mark likes spreadsheets, but I don't have a spreadsheet because I hate doing spreadsheets. I do them all the time. But I have no reason to like not help you learn how to get better at anything. And I hope that at some point in time, you're gonna show me something that's gonna help me be better. But I think that sometimes with people, they're so closed off and they want to be a one-man show. And it's just not like that, especially with the Chondro community. And you're going to learn and talk to different people at different stages if you're keeping too. So don't be opposed to talking to the bigger guy when you're at the bottom, because you, at some point in time, you will talk to that guy if you keep at it.
I challenge anyone out there to go to any successful Chondro breeder and saying, like, oh, you did this all on your own. Everybody has somebody that they went back and forth with. Like, if you want to talk about, like, the only person I can think out there who I know who could be like, holy shit, this guy did this on his own is Trooper Walsh. Trooper Walsh, the only guy I feel like is like the fucking goddamn, like the Columbus of this shit, discovering, like, and then we have Greg Maxwell who put it all into a book. So it's like, but we're not at this stage no more. Like, it's like we are generations beyond that. And what's awesome is, like, we have people that Trooper Walsh groomed and got dialed in who are still here. And Trooper Walsh is still here, obviously, but goddamn, that man's old. And like, fuck, like, I'm just saying, like, we should take advantage of what we have around us right now. And if you don't have a certain type of vibe in a certain group, then leave the group. Nobody's telling you to be a part of that. Like, even like, if you don't feel like you're welcome in something, then fucking bounce out. Go find a one-on-one connection with somebody. That's all I got to say. And like I said, it's going to take time, and it's not going to be as fast and easy as most people or for some people, but day by day, bro. That's all I got to say.
I mean, that's real. I think that we learn and we relearn. So that's the biggest part of this, is just being accepting of the fact that you don't know everything, and you're going to need help.
The Chondro game is nonstop learning. Like, I talked to Bill, I talked to Marshall, I talked to Gary, I talked to Sock, all these fucking people. And like, Sock's not even Sock's, I think Sock's first clutch was in 2010. But let's talk about Gary Shavino in the 90s. Like, we're talking like Marshall in the 90s. We're talking like years before any of this, right? And they all still learn shit. They all still have things that happen to them, and they go like this. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
So, and that's, bro, that's what I'm saying. That's the beauty of it. You get what you can get, bro. And you go to Bill Siegel's place, he's going to show you some glorious bloodlines of shit that he was successful with, but you don't know all the death that came with that.
Oh yeah, I believe that. I believe that we talk about a lot of bloodlines that we don't even get to see anymore.
Right.
they're hidden away, or a thing of the past. So we got to learn from that too.
Yeah, but what's awesome is, like, you think about the ball python world, where it's all about creating that next best morph, right? There ain't no fucking morphs in this Chondro game. This is all about the best locality, and locality getting put in back to locality. So if you really want to have a legacy to build a name off of, and it's not easy, mind you, God, they all got to be in your favor, but the Chondro game, Emerald game, like, go attack shit that people aren't fucking with. That's what you need. And not necessarily like everyone's fucking with something in this game, but not as aggressively as certain things. And the ball python game is the most aggressively attacked, want to be in game, right? But you go to the ball python game as a noob, you want to get into something else. Okay. And I got to tell you, this Chondro game, yeah, it's not for everybody, but what a game to be in. And I'm having a time, bro. Like, this was awesome. I mean, dude, I almost want to create Monday new breeder on the blocks for just Chondro breeders. I wish I could, but there's not enough Travises out there, bro. There's really not. But you never know what's going to happen in the next 5 years,
Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of people that you're gonna see. Like, I don't deem myself as special because I got 2 clutches in the same year. I think that there's people that are gonna do 2 or 3 in the same year. I think that, when you look at people like Chuck, Chuck is going for a second. Shout out to Chuck. You got Keno, you got Noel, who I see is coming up. You got Pat. I mean, not Pat, but Bill Hoffman. I got them confused because they both ball. But you got all these people that are going to be coming up soon. Oso, watch out for Oso, and I think in the future that Dre is going to be doing something as well. But
I hope so. We need Dre needs to get more heavily in tune with this Condro shit. We need him.
Oh yeah,
in a minute.
And I can't forget Sal from the UK. Watch out for Sal too.
Sal from the UK. Who's Sal from the UK? Give me more information.
Cryptic Chondros, man. So
this guy right here. Okay.
Yeah, that's my boy right there.
Out to Sal. Thanks for being here, Sal. I mean, hey, bro, I ain't gonna lie, Travis. You got mad support in the live chats throughout this whole 2.5 hours.
I can't even see it.
you can go back and see it, but bro, it's hot seat question time. You ready for these hot seat questions or what?
Let's go.
All right, here we go. Hot seat questions for Big Trav, guys. Let's get the likes up. Likes have been respectable the whole night. We've been well over 70 likes this entire time, and just shy of 90 people. But anyways, hot seat questions. Mongrel Reptiles coming in hot. You ready, Travis?
Let's go.
Here we go. Frozen thought or live?
Frozen thought.
A cut or no cut?
A cut.
On what day?
Day 51.
Ideal egg box substrate?
Vermiculite and perlite mix.
Ideal incubator temperature for a chondro?
87.5.
One arboreal species you would keep other than a chondro?
Emeralds.
Yes. Northerns or basins?
Basins.
Favorite emerald tree boa breeder in the game?
Dan Marino.
It's Ed Marino, but
Ed Marino. I got to mix up. Don't get mad at me.
The laces were in. I'm just kidding. Pre first shed meal or post first shed meal?
Post first shed meal.
Yay imports or boo imports?
Yay imports.
One reptile you would import anywhere around the world, what would it be?
Komodo dragon.
Yes. One reptile nobody should ever import, ever. I don't care who you are. Leave it alone.
Jackson's chameleons.
I like that. To miss or spray a chondro, or to never miss and spray a chondro?
Miss and spray.
Yay sports or boo sports?
Yay sports.
Favorite sport?
Basketball.
Favorite basketball team of all time?
Chicago Bulls.
The Bulls. Yes. I don't know. Do I have to ask you your favorite player of all time? I don't think I need to. MJ, right? I'm assuming, or no?
Rodman.
Oh, you're a suspect, bro. That is a suspect. Bro, you got your tongue pierced or some shit? You got something funky about you. You suspect, bro.
Man, I got a pair of Rodmans downstairs, man.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie though. Hey, bro, my biggest flex in elementary school is my 6th grade. My dad bought me a Rodman jersey, and this is when Rodman was he was on the Chicago, he was on the Bulls, right? 98.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And this was like my dad was always like, do your thing. Like, if you want to fucking dye your hair, I guess, do it, right? And Rodman was the first basketball player with colored hair. And like, he was good. Like, people were like, he was like that person that everyone wanted to talk shit about, but he was fucking good. And
greatest defender of all time.
That's why I was like, and I'm a Raider fan too. Like, I mean, you can fucking hate the Raiders all you want, but you can't hate the loyalty of a Raider fan. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck what you say. So Rodman, I love that you said that, man. That's nuts. That's a crazy connection right there. Shout to Rodman.
Hey, man, it's my favorite, man.
But man, is he suspect for sure.
Okay. He is.
Yeah, okay.
Pink lips from all that alcohol.
Steak or fish?
Steak.
Favorite cut of steak?
I'm gonna say ribeye.
Favorite side with that ribeye? What would that be?
Lobster mac and cheese.
I mean, yes, that's technically 2, unless you're at Reese. But I like that. West Coast rapper, East Coast rap?
East Coast.
Favorite East Coast rapper of all time?
Jay-Z.
Favorite Jay-Z album?
Blueprint.
You can't argue that. Little word association. First thing to come to mind. First time Chondro breeder.
New.
Chondro Facebook groups.
Rough.
Facebook in general.
Antiquated.
The Chondro bar.
Bunch of bullshit.
Number one up and coming Chondro breeder in your heart.
Keno.
Respect. Least favorite Chondro locality.
Aru.
Wow. That was aggressive. Suckshed.
Soak.
Instagram trolls.
Fun.
If you had to eliminate one, and I mean one, species of, actually, I take that back. If you had to get rid of one platform, it's either going to be YouTube or TikTok. Which one needs to go?
TikTok.
And that's a wrap. Listen, bro, we had, like I said, just shy of 90 people tapped in for this fucking episode. Okay. All showing you love and respect. What do you have to say to all your supporters out there, Travis?
Hey, man, I love everybody. I just, first of all, want to give a shout out to Keno, Chuck and Jill, Noel, Pat, Mark Hager, Bill Hoffman. Also, what is this? Rain, Sal, Randy and Haley, James Smith, Matt Morris, and Sal. And also James Smith and Thaddeus Sauls as well.
Did you have names written down? I saw you looking.
I wrote it down, man. I got bad memory, man. I'm terrible.
Like you took the time. You took the time out of your day to make sure you gave these people their fucking time on your interview. This is like that's the most hardest thing I could ever see from somebody. And
hey, they love me, man. These people actually help me out all the time.
Bro, I fucks with you, man. Hey, listen, not that you guys need it, but anytime you want me to come a part of that Chondro bar room, I will light that bitch up. Let me know. I love what you guys have going on. Keep doing your thing, Travis. You right now, to me, and I'm not the only one, is an inspiration for any up-and-coming Chondro breeder in the game. So I got to salute you. And I got to say, the next time you come on this show, it ain't going to be on a Monday. It's that main Thursday night slot. You feel me?
Ooh, I got to do the shimmy for it. Ooh.
Hey, no, it's probably going to be at Bill's place in person.
Man, you can't keep inviting me to some other man's house.
Yes, I can. I got a room. I got a room with my name on it, bro. Bill gives me that type of credibility. But listen, I gotta say thank you so much for being a huge inspiration for every new Chondro and even experienced Chondro keeper in the game. But that's a wrap for my boy Travis from Mongrel Reptiles. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up.
Thank y'all, man. Thank y'all for showing up, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank you, MJ, too, man.
Hey, Travis, real quick. Do you have anything available Neos wise? In case anyone's wondering, how can I get myself like a Travis produced Chondro? What's the best way to be on top of stuff like that?
So I sold the last one that's going out, but the sarongs, I have no clue when they'll be online. But you know, when they're available, I'll let everybody know.
So follow, just follow you on Instagram though. Mongrel Reptiles on Instagram is the best way.
Yeah, that's the best way.
Okay. Well, guys, tap in, click on his Instagram, the link in the description below. And hey, have a good night, Travis. I appreciate you held this shit down. Hey, give your wife mad props on taking care of, but your kids weren't even bad, bro. Your kids did great. I loved it.
Hey, man, she's the best, man. I love her to death, man. She's the best.
Man. I'll say, I hope I see you at the next Arlington, bro. Have a good night.
You too, man. Bye.
Damn. Hey, Chondro community, you have a good one. Right there, that guy, Travis. I like that guy. And I like every single one of his homies supporting him in the chats. Literally, I saw so much love and support in the chats for our man, Travis, Mongrel Reptiles. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did and as much as everyone in the live chats did. But this was your first time tapping in. Do your boy a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Hit that like button. Don't be shy. Drop a comment. Let me know what you like best out of this Chondro segment of New Breed on the Block, man. But dude, Chondros, I fucking love the Chondro game. And I love anyone out there who's sacrificing their mental well-being because people are afraid of failure in life. That is a fact. People don't want to have to go through failing at something because they feel bad about it. But at the end of the day, failure brings you the results that you need to be proud of something. It's called the journey. Be happy for the journey. And if you're in the fucking Chondro game, you are in the journey. Okay? So just be ready. I got to say, best fucking time of my life is being a part of not only this podcast right here, but the reptile industry, the snakes, everything. I love it. I love it. It's going to be awesome. This was a great episode. Chondro fanatics, thank you for being here. But we are getting back to business Thursday. I have one of the biggest Canadian ball python breeders coming to the show, somebody I respect highly. And I've been looking forward to this round 2 episode for well over a year. Not sure what took me so long to book this, but we made it happen. So either way, ball python people out there, I love you guys. Be ready. Corey Woods. Bro, I'm sorry. Putting Marcus Jane and Will Morrows on the shelf when I say this, I don't include them, but this guy, Corey Woods, shits all over motherfuckers coming out of Canada. This guy is the real deal Holyfield, okay? Corey Woods is the real deal Holyfield, and he is your favorite ball python breeder's favorite ball python breeder, and that's a fact. Corey Woods in the flesh, coming to Trap Talk this Thursday night, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, episode 308. And I don't have a guest for Sunday. I had someone reschedule. I'm not going to lie. I need more gecko breeders. Guys, who in the gecko game who fucks with this channel wants to come on this show? Reach out to me. I need somebody heavy in the gecko game for Sunday night, this Sunday night. If nobody hits me up, I'm going to just keep it monitors. I'm okay with that. But gecko people, hit up your boy MJ. I'm serious. I want to stay tapped in. I'm trying to go to Florida with some clout. You feel me? I love you guys. Hey guys, also too, if you're looking for exclusive content, if you want to be tapped in to more than what you see here, if you want to support what I do, because this is my full-time job, what you see here is what I do for a full-time living. Go down to the link and join the Trap Talk Patreon family. Not only does that support my channel and what I do, but you're going to tap into some fucking real deal keepers. I'm talking about some keepers I will literally put my name on, and the well-being by the animals is number one. Marketing, growing, everything is a part of the game plan. So if you want to be a part of this, join the Trap Talk Patreon family tonight. Don't fucking waste time. If you're hearing this, join the Trap Talk Patreon family. As soon as you join the Patreon family, you get a link to the Discord, okay? And that will tap you in with over 160 trappers. Motherfuckers who ain't playing about their shit. Real deal keepers in the building. I love my Patreon family members. But that's a wrap for tonight, guys. Thank you so much. Travis, thank you so much for... Man, what a dad, bro. This fool held it down with 2 toddlers just going at it right by him. Great episode. Chondro community. I'll see you guys next time. Trappers, I'll see you Thursday night, and I'll see you guys at the top. And I'm out.